I'm sorry to everyone that I made content cop videos on. I still don't like the majority of you, and that's fine, but I can recognize that you did not deserve the hate and harassment that I sent your way. I particularly want to apologize to Tana. Tana, I'm sorry. I should have never made that video. I harassed Tana in person, and that's deplorable behavior. It's so stupid. I'm also sorry to all the black viewers and minority groups who had to put up with that video.
I have referenced this so many times throughout the years. I thought, what better than to leave you with some content while I'm gone than to watch the conversation about iDubbbz. Even the iDubbbz fans hated this. Two women are insufferable. He cuts a check and pays reparations. He can never be forgiven. Come on. This is the iDubbbz debate where he hops on and he starts talking about racism and the impact of his slur usage.
A lot of, black creators and black people in general have had to deal with the environment that, me and, other creators.
It is the worst interview up until this point that he has ever done. And ironically, it seems to be about like a similar time frame to that clip we just saw earlier. I have never seen this debate in full. Oh, this conversation in full, and the parts that I've seen are absolutely hilarious. I think for a lot of you, you might not have seen it either. Damn, man, I'm empathetic towards Ian and his rebranding. I liked his old content and appreciate what he's doing, but a lot of what these women are saying is
Nicholas
dumb.
DeOrio.
Yeah, Foles appreciated the shout out.
Yeah, I can't. I actually am so excited to watch this right now. It's got 119,000 views. It was a full year ago, and it premiered live when it happened. So I don't know if there was an original VOD here where it accumulated more views. But holy fuck here. Thank you for bringing Ian on and being more than fair with him. I know it felt really good in the conversation. I know he felt really good. Oh, that's Anissa! That's Anissa Jomha! All right, so guys, go in with this knowledge ahead of time before we watch this, because Anissa is giving us a look into what Ian's mental state was when he actually did this. Holy shit, dude. That is some fucking... I'm glad I read that before we started. Thank you for bringing Ian on to talk and being more than fair with him. I know he felt really good about this conversation and talked about it for days after. This was a really nice watch, and I enjoyed the back and forth with Francesca. I think this is a helpful conversation and a baseline understanding of why the world is the way that it is, and I hope more people can be honest and open in the future so we can get into a better place. We really appreciate you, and I admire you. And then she responds, thank you, Anissa. I appreciate you both for being so open and receptive. It was a great conversation. Holy shit, dude. The empathy was learned. I think midway through this conversation is when his empathy meter went from halfway full to fully there, you know? He was like 3/4 of the way, and this got him over the bar. Now he's extra empathetic. He's more empathetic than even previously thought possible, ladies and gentlemen. iDubbbz interview coming right up, starting now.
And black people in general have had to deal with the environment that, me and, other creators have made.
Because if we had the
I recommend watching Nicholas DeOrio's latest video.
ability...
He was terrified and shitting himself. The latter one there is unrelated to him being terrified. I just thought it was worth mentioning.
You know what I think of every time I think about when iDubbbz shits his pants? I think of that South Park skit where it's like, it's not Stevie Ray Vaughan, it's Steamy Ray Vaughan. Stevie Ray Vaughan sings, and Steamy Ray Vaughan just shits his britches, or whatever. Can I find that clip really fast? Holy fuck, that's literally, every time I think of fucking Ian, that's like the first thing that comes up in my ADHD-riddled mind. He has empathy.
Feller down at the bowling alley, he gets up on the stage and shits his britches.
What for?
He gets right up on the boxing thing and just shits his britches.
I don't know, but he gets up there, starts
He puts on those gloves and gets all ready in his corner and just shits everywhere.
loading his britches up like it's going out of style.
Thank you for the $5, my man.
It's like some kind of britches holocaust.
No! No! And he's just gonna say it was worth it.
Feller calls himself Steamy Ray Vaughan.
You mean that guy that plays the blues and died in an airplane crash?
No, that's Stevie Ray Vaughan. Steamy Ray Vaughan just shits his britches.
If we had the ability to cancel you, you wouldn't have been successful in the first place.
And I totally get Francesca's feelings of like, you can't undo.
Wait, by the way, this woman was at the red carpet gala? No, wait, really? Holy shit, dude. They invited her out to the red carpet? I guess creators of any size can go to these things. If Frogan's there, I'm not really shocked. Anyway.
5-10 years of harassment that I've received.
Like not being a racist, not being...
No, that was not a fat joke, okay? It's a reference that Frogan is irrelevant and small. That was the joke.
A bigot is the bare minimum. We're not giving out cookies for that.
I want to preface this video with a disclaimer. If you are somebody who...
Dude, oh great. I love this. I love a disclaimer right at the beginning of a horrible interview.
I want to preface this video with a disclaimer. If you are somebody who innately finds the mention of race or racism agitating, turn this video off.
We're not turning it off!
Where the love is, because you are not gonna find it here, babes, and we are being productive today. This is not a drama video. It's not a video about canceling anyone. It's not even a video about railing against white content creators who create platforms doing bigoted content and apologize and or pivot. It's about trying to get to the root of how these platforms come to exist in the first place.
I cannot wait to find out, guys. We're gonna learn, guys, we're gonna get the checklist of things we need to do to be more fucking, to be more evil on the site.
Why they seem to persist in spite of the communities that they harm, actively telling those creators that it causes harm, and what, if any,
I can't hear you!
Material things those creators can do to mitigate the harm they've caused and or at least demonstrate
la 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 la, no harm here.
Their sincerity.
No harm, no foul, that's what I say. Product of your environment, that's my iconic catchphrase.
We, as an audience, can better determine who is being genuine and who's just trying to make some kind of leftist rebrand. Because the reality is, this exists, this happens. So what do we do going forward?
All right, what you don't understand, ma'am, okay, you haven't heard this one yet, all right? Anyone can rebrand and do whatever they want as long as Vosh has them on their podcast, okay? Shoeonhead, I don't care what her skeptic history was. Vosh had her on the podcast.
Is Darkfab EU
That's all that you need to do.
No,
You're going to give me a checklist of all this shit, all right? If Vosh or Hassan have you on the podcast, you are now a leftist and you are accepted by everyone, all right? You just got to go on the lefty podcast. You're good to go.
Is Darkfab EU a virgin? No, I am not.
Do you remember that time period where like there was a parade of skeptics that would go on to fucking Vosh's stream, and then they would be like, "That's it, dude. You have your sin has been relinquished. Praise the Lord. You're back in the good eyes."
Nicholas DeOrio's latest video.
His wife and his company legit tried to goad Ding Dong VG into offing himself after he spoke out about their blatant cash grab Dream Daddy.
Dude, I don't know about Ding Dong
him
now.
From most YT circles.
I didn't like Ding Dong because he got into a fight with Bo Blacks and I thought he was kind of cringe, but I don't like Bo Blacks now. So retroactively, if I use Bo Blacksian logic, Ding Dong was actually always right and awesome, and I've always gotten it wrong. So I don't know. Who knows, dude? Dude, if we appeal to Bo Blacksian lore, okay, that means that I've supported him forever.
A video about condemnation. It is about problem solving, and it's about recognizing very real realities, very different kinds of harms and different perspectives and opinions people are entitled to have around harm that is caused. I interviewed iDubbbz, or Ian.
I was being very just generally uncaring.
But before I show you that interview, I need to first give
The best part is I feel like she's gonna fish for like the exact same clips that I would if I was hosting a malicious interview with iDubbbz, but she wants them for a different reason.
Nicholas DeOrio.
This is unironically as safe of a conversation for Ian as like talking to me would be.
You a little backstory and explain to you why I interviewed him so you have the proper context to view it in, because again, this is not about him as an individual. He is a case study, which is why I first interviewed Francesca Ramsey, an amazing writer, comedian, actress, and also somebody that iDubbbz had personally attacked and caused a harassment campaign to wage against her.
When the fuck did that happen?
For years. I started thinking about this because I co-host a show called The Leftist Mafia, and a couple of months ago we had to remove one of our co-hosts, Illuminati, when substantial evidence.
What? Yo, dude, guys, fucking lore wagon here. We gotta hit you with a content wagon. Are you guys familiar with Illuminati? Illuminati was a YouTuber who we were friendly with when she used to make videos talking about how she used to shit and clog the toilet in her boyfriend's bathroom. All right? She was a co-host of Tommy C's show. If you guys don't know who Tommy C is, he's obviously the streamer who's in like all the drama right now. She was the co-host of Tommy C's like YouTube news show, and then she hit it big on Reddit, backstabbed everybody, went completely psychotic, claimed that r/swatted her, ran off, and just started becoming a successful YouTuber for like 4 years. Until then she got like accused of like a bunch of different things. She like got into a lawsuit with somebody. Her career exploded. She was dragged back down to earth, kicking and screaming, and now she's like dead and gone, and she's completely off of YouTube. Sorry, that was a context wagon. I knew Illuminati before she was famous, and she sucked back then too. Anyways.
Was brought to the table to show
Legal Eagle, yes, the Legal Eagle drama, true.
She had a history of attacking and harassing every creator that seemed to cross her path. But more than that, we learned that she had done what I like to call...
Also, even funnier, small world, she had a podcast with Lance from the Surfs, dude. You know Lance, the doxing Mike from PA by saying he's from Pennsylvania guy? She did a political... She was like, oh, you know, making these fucking easy videos on how... MLMs are a scam is too easy for me. Somebody who has somebody... Again, oh, dude, that was another thing. Illuminati had someone write her videos, right? Edit her videos, create the thumbnail for her videos, research the content for her videos. She was so untalented and shit. She outsourced every aspect of content creation to the point where she was a hired actress on her own channel, and all she had to do was read the shit people wrote for her. That's how untalented she was. She fell into a successful YouTube channel. It was extremely lucky, and she was able to transition from Reddit content, where she would just read more intelligent people's stuff.
The leftist rebrand. It's when white content creators build platforms on what they call edgy but bigoted content. And then after years of...
Wait, I'm sorry. Can we go out? I need these definitions right now. I'm gonna get lost in this one.
That she had done what I like to call the leftist rebrand. It's when white content creators build platforms on what they call edgy.
Can black people not rebrand as lefties? Wait, only white people can do this. This is a white-only option.
That seemed to cross her path. But more than that, we learned that she had done what I like to call the leftist rebrand. It's when white content creators build platforms on what they call edgy.
That is a crazy line right there. I love how casual racism is just like totally fucking cool. It's just like totally okay, you know? We're so anti-racist, we become racist by association.
But bigoted content.
Like, you know who's a good example here? Bunty King. Bunty King wanted to become more progressive. He's a fucking brown dude. Name's fucking Bunty King, okay? Anand Virk. I guess his brown card was taken away at the sight of this drama.
And then after...
Now, he was a total loser, but like... He was a brown guy who wanted to be progressive, so that flies fundamentally up against this.
Platforms on what they call edgy but bigoted content. And then after years of causing harm and attacking absolutely anybody who criticized them for it, they simply apologized to their audiences who not only never cared that they did it, loved them precisely because they did it. And that audience, of course, forgives them because it was never their harm to forgive.
Guys, the thing with iDubbbz is he was talking to his audience that always was going to forgive him, so this doesn't really count, right? Yeah, this video was recorded in 2023, by the way. She already knew that didn't happen. She already knew that iDubbbz's career was in
Nicholas, the GOAT.
And then he was like the laughing stock of the community.
And they go on.
Thank you for hitting the goal.
The problem with these redemption arcs or rebrands, however you choose to characterize it, is that one, you never really know who's being sincere versus just making some kind of pivot for their own financial or professional gain. Two, there are rarely any concrete acts of atonement.
Just to be clear, when I turn 30 years old, I am going to do this immediately. I will sell you all out. Okay, because I will hate money. All right, I will become a fucking battered loser online, and I'll apologize for all the things that I think are extremely funny, just to appeal to a group of YouTubers that will hate me forever, despite anything I ever say to them. I will forego any income and any enjoyment of YouTube to become a complete loser. So just a heads up, that's coming.
Made to or for the individuals or communities that were actually harmed, and they're usually left entirely out of the conversation. 3, while it does theoretically make sense to want to forgive people for doing something wrong and then recognizing that and wanting to do better, little exploration is had into whether or not giving out that forgiveness so freely incentivizes other white creators to build their platforms this way, knowing they will be excused in the future. And 4.
Wait, I'm sorry. Tana Mojo, did you accept Ian's apology? White woman? Have you even consulted your 15 black neighbors on whether that's an okay thing that you've just done? And for them, have they consulted the greater black community? Have you even thought about the greater black community when you humbly accepted that apology?
Little exploration is had into why those creators didn't seem to realize their behavior was apology.
You can't call. Oh, shut up.
Worthy.
Okay, fuck yourself. That's not what I was saying.
When the communities they were harming were actively.
You guys are demonic.
Telling them it was. As Francesca put it.
They will make you a target and they will make you their jumping off point, and they will use bigotry as a come up.
Nicholas,
and
the goat.
I mean, I don't want to be right. It's bittersweet.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm the Lorax for like hate speech. I speak for the bigotry. I'm sorry. That was really stupid. That was very unfunny. I
What's
apologize.
the name of the guy? Keemstar Orbiter,
Jesus
Nick
Christ.
Oreo, Mr. Oreo.
Say, neighbor.
Wait, what? Nick, I wanted to mention that when a girl said that iDubbbz made
Nicholas,
content on Francesca
the
Ramsey,
goat. Thank you
it
for
wasn't
the
her, it
$5,
was Chris
my man.
Raygun. Wait, she's mixing up two white people? She's saying all the whites look the same? It was about Chris Raygun?
This isn't chai tea. What the hell is this? Detailed, very interesting. But the tone.
Like or to share. We have to remember
Oh
that
my
there are
god, she just mixed up all the whites, dude. All those gosh darn whites that look the same.
People on the other side of those screens. And maybe having these conversations offline, one-on-one, without an audience there, can help us better understand how to have them on a bigger scale.
Into this pile of trash and tears.
I mean, to be clear, they do kind of look the same, you know? They kind of are the same build, make, and model.
At first. Vámonos! That's me putting my Spanish heritage to use. Vámonos, pendejo!
I don't know if I can blame her for this right now. I could see
Nicholas,
it. Oh, here's a
the
video
goat.
from 7
Thank you for
years
the
ago on the
$5, my
dude. He's
man.
on his iDubbbz is on his alt channel. This is like his version of Comment Cop. It's Chris Raygun. I mean, if you know the lore, you know that Anissa wanted to also like get with Chris Raygun too, right? That was somebody she was interested in. It was Leafy, Chris Raygun, and iDubbbz. So I mean, Anissa's got eyes for him because he's the same archetype of white dude.
But as I'm seeing it
say something to
happen,
you,
I'm
Nick?
like,
I
I
really
said
like you.
this would happen
Why?
years ago. Years.
Spanish
Not
people
a
are
month
white.
ago.
Well, if you raise the brightness far enough, I can't really tell the difference either. Listen, I don't know, dude. Actually, you know who the best person to talk about this with is Tommy. All right, dude. If you ask Tommy, because he lives in Europe, he'll be able to tell you the difference between an Irish guy, an Italian guy, a fucking Spanish person. I legitimately don't know.
What's the name?
I
of
have no
the
idea.
guy?
I can't look at you and realize that you're fucking
Mr.
Irish. I don't know how that works.
It's an easy mistake to make. Anissa was hot for Chris at the time, so that's who she was dressing Ian as.
I don't know the intricate details of whether Irish people are considered black or white. They look white to me, so I say it. Italian people, I don't know. Apparently, if you're Sicilian, I don't fucking know. They all look white to me, dude. You ask about Jewish people, some people will tell you that they're fucking, like, ethnically Jewish, and that means they're not white or something. I don't know how all the races perceive it. If they look white, I call them white. If I get corrected, I'll correct it. But, like, I don't know. I don't fucking know. Everybody's got a whole new definition for who's white and who's not.
Not a week ago, years. Check the receipts. I said this would happen, and it absolutely did.
So while I'd been thinking about all that, I came across this tweet by Francesca.
Smaggle said,
I
check
didn't
Discord.
intend on
I'm
making
going to blow your mind. He was the one who sent me the Chris Raygun thing and told me what was up, so I did.
Video about this, but I'm so angry that like I just have to say something and just like get it out and let it go. So recently there's been a wave of people who've made bigoted content on the internet coming forward and apologizing. TikTok, we've got Kelly Cagdon. On YouTube, we have iDubbbz, I think is how you say his name. And in years past, we've had Shane Dawson. And
oh, guys, Shane Dawson. The worst thing about him was his bigoted content. I can't tell you for... Guy, do you remember when Shane Dawson got outed for using blackface and everyone's like, well, they all kind of used blackface back then. Yeah, it was a kind of a bad time for old YouTube. Nobody ever talks about that era of old YouTube where all these fucking white dudes did blackface. There was two things that old YouTubers did, and they all seemed to be they all kind of like sexted their fans and had extremely weird interactions with their audience, like the Pro Jared Tumblr blog type shit, or like the stuff that Edwin was always going on about Seer about, and Onision had like a fucking a fan rating service that was ultimately highly criticized for the type of material that it broadcasted. But if you look back far enough, you'll find out that a lot of these guys were weird, deranged freaks. And then the other one was blackface. It was like a little bit of weird interactions with audience members, some of which were probably on the younger age. And then mostly racism.
All of these people I have different relationships with. So I hosted a show for MTV called MTV Decoded. I actually created the show. I wrote on the show. I hired tons of incredible people and made a lot of great content that I am very proud of. But at the time that the show was on, I dealt with a lot of harassment because of it from these people that labeled themselves anti-social justice warriors, anti-feminist on YouTube, including iDubbbz. And he made a number of...
So is Francesca lying here, or is there an iDubbbz video that's lost to time? Because I've heard this before, but I don't know how I could possibly fact check if iDubbbz never made something. But the narrative is that she's talking about Chris Reagan here and getting the two white dudes who look similar mixed up.
Videos where he used the...
Francesca is lying is Smaggle's quote. Smaggle Daggle has accused Francesca of lying.
The N-word, fully uncensored, where he put my face in videos and called me, you know, a and, you know, said that my work was cancer, and like my work made him want to kill himself. Most of these videos have been privated, so I can't show them.
Oh no, all the videos that I'm talking about here specifically to make my argument, they don't exist anymore, but you've got to take my word for it because I've told you. That's what I did.
To you, but I've seen them, and he created a culture and a fan base.
I've seen them, so you know I'm telling the truth because I'm speaking my truth.
That then harassed me. So did Shane Dawson.
And the caption on the video read, a response regarding creators who rebrand or outright denounce their past racist or bigoted content via apology video. The culture of harassment and bigotry you've created.
Okay, I don't know who to like side with here. Like the openly racist person. Who are we siding with? The racist person or like, or iDubbbz is like, because if you side with her, that means that like she kind of agrees with a lot of our positions on iDubbbz, but simultaneously this person is extremely awful. I don't really know. Hold on, wait, she fucking ats Chris. Oh yeah, she ats Chris Ray Gun in the tweet. You're correct, Smaggle. So I don't know. Maybe iDubbbz made a video that we don't have access to.
Created and profited off is not a race with a sorry or a rebrand. When I looked at the people that she had tagged, I realized that iDubbbz and I followed each other because I attended Creator Clash earlier this year with my...
Oh no. Wait, this is before? Hey, thank you for inviting me to Creator Clash. Would you like to come on my podcast and like get brutally embarrassed and rescind your fucking racism to the world? Wait, why did you go to a racist fucking charity event?
My friend, LOL overruled. So I went down the rabbit hole, starting with the apology. Which, listen, as far as these apology videos go, it was a better one.
He was so flagrant, and I will say, like, I'm not one to give out cookies. I watched his whole apology video, and I will say, like, in the grand scheme of responses, he did a better job than most. So I'm gonna say that he probably had someone advising him.
I'm sorry, mister, I apologize for my racism. The Council of Micro YouTubers will assess your response. They'll be the ones to grade your fucking apology. Unfortunately, you have not been deemed acceptable by the micro YouTubers.
Yeah. Which I don't think is a bad thing. It's probably a smart thing to do. But again, it's just not enough for me. It's not enough for me, and I hope that he's genuinely committed to being a better person. And again, like, I listened to it, and maybe he is, but like,
notably though,
I gotta ask, what's the incentive of like renouncing your past anymore? If all the racist people are gonna hate you, right? If your casual fans aren't gonna give a shit, and all of the people that you're trying to appeal to turn around and say, not good enough. What is your incentive to be better if you can't accept an apology? Like, do you not want allies on your side? Are you too good for people to become like-minded to your positions?
Apology, he singled out only one creator. At first, the only name he singles out to apologize to in this video
is a white woman.
Francesca, okay, we're right here. We are right.
I mean, you know, I clocked that immediately.
All right, guys, I do apologize for saying the N-word in the past, and to prepare for this, I actually listed every black person who follows me on Twitter Unfortunately, I can't know if someone with an anime profile picture is black or if someone who's using a picture of a black person other than themselves is a black person, in which case I have added extra people to the list. All right, first off, Tyler Perry, I'm extremely sorry for saying the N-word for as long as I did. Brian, my bad. I'm absolutely appalled at the way I've acted. That's what he needed to do. He needed to list every black person that's tangentially related to him and individually apologize for 6 hours, like when I do the donation reads at the end of the stream.
See, I didn't know who she was, so I assumed she was a black woman, right, based on the context of the video.
But did you go down the rabbit hole of how that situation started? I mean, the levels of irony. You apologizing to a white girl for using the N-word, who also used the N-word.
Who used to?
Nicholas also used the N-word, and you thought that you were gonna check.
Yeah, this is literally you're not racist anymore. List every black person that you list every black person ever that exists, but unironically.
Her on using the N-word, but
by
also
using
the N-word.
By also using it.
Come on, we in Inception territory.
But I do think it's a conversation that needs to be had with the centering of whiteness, even within your recognition of wrongness or apology going forward. There's still, not only is there a centering of
oh my god, I'm so sorry, iDubbbz. You've totally forgot to fucking include your Make-A-Wish 160k YouTuber who was probably given a free hotel room at Creator Clash. How could you have not included her in the video that's completely not related to her at all whatsoever?
Of white women in even the apology and aftermath. But it's even the center of what I believe drove the desire to go this path, because I think his audience, what happened is the audience,
they were attacking his wife,
and that is the tea. And that's the tea.
That's when it got real.
and that's what I'm like, so it got real for you when a white woman was hurt, and in the apology, it's only a white woman who is singled out and apologized to, because I'm like, well,
imagine hearing this podcast and going, yeah, I think I'll talk to these people. I'll hop on this stream. They seem fairly reasonable. And then your wife coming on to talk about how great it went afterwards.
You're apologizing for making racist and bigoted content, and yet no black...
Like, guys, these are fucking assholes. I will defend iDubbbz till the cows come home on this, unfortunately. But then he goes on this fucking stream and talks about it.
Person has been individually named, right?
And to be fair, like, I don't need him to check me by name. I would prefer my name
leave it out of
it. But at the same time, I did, similarly to you, clock the irony of him devoting a substantial part of that video directly to Tana.
Yes.
And even she's another example of someone who has rebranded, right? Like, she was saying the N-word.
She said the N-word when she was 17 years old, dude. I actually, this is actually absurd. This is crazy.
She was making this, like, bigoted content, and then she really...
Like, Tana's response of, like, I didn't understand racism was as cringy as Bo Black's when he was fucking 27 years old. I understand, but, like, I don't give a fuck. Guys, people pull this tweet up all the time. They're like, are you mad? Are you gonna, like, criticize your friend Turkey Tom for saying the N-word? I don't give a fuck if Turkey Tom said the N-word when he was 17 years old. I personally don't care if he said it afterwards, but I certainly don't care if he said N-words eating chicken in a Discord screenshot you were never meant to see when he was 17 years old. I absolutely could not give a flying fuck about that. I think that you're probably micromanaging to an absurd degree if that's something that's even clocked on your mind.
What's the name of the guy? Keemstar Orbiter, Nick DeOrio,
moved
Mr.
in
Oreo.
a different direction, and that was what he called out, supposedly, that led down that path. So again, it rings hollow for me, especially because I've been on the internet a very long time, and I've watched this happen numerous times, and I've seen people come and go, and the people who are able to remain relevant and the ones who are able to continue to have a platform evolve. And sometimes it is authentically so, and other times it's like, oh my god, I gotta move, I gotta change shit up because they about to cancel me, I'm about to get out of here. And it's like,
I have to set the stage for this kind of video, because when you talk about racism, there are people who just feel personally attacked. They automatically feel like you're making a personal indictment of them.
Because you are literally attacking him. You are actually attacking him right now. This is a person who is like-minded with you, who cares about similar issues with you, and you're nickel and diming his apology. That would probably be something that I imagine you'd want on your side. I'm not really sure here. And I think his apology is shit for a billion different reasons that you probably think it's good for. It's so weird.
From that moment forward, they are in defense mode and you are their adversary. Because what they're really hearing is, you think I'm a bad person. You think I consciously decided to be racist. But the reality is a lot more nuanced and a lot less personal than that. The reality is that if you recognize that racism is pervasive in a society, that there is systemic racism, that we are all being raised and educated and indoctrinated in a society that has woven racism and anti-Black.
It's almost like Nick's iconic catchphrase that you're a product of your environment. That's my favorite catchphrase.
Into our laws, into our media, into our schools, into our every fabric of our institutions.
Why didn't he quote her instead of me?
You will internalize and perpetuate racism and anti-Blackness, whether you're aware, whether you consciously.
You have to be in a constant state of apology, because just by existing in society, it's like the oh my god, dude, it's literally like the socialist thing or whatever. What's the socialist fucking comic that you see? Like, We Live in Society or whatever. It's that, but for just like assaulting Black people verbally, right? Like, no matter what you're doing at any given moment, you're perpetuating racism. So you have to be in a constant state of apologizing. If you see a Black person on the street, you need to say sorry immediately, because there's things that you're not even realizing you're doing that's actually impacting their life on a personal level.
Set out to be or identify as a racist, whether you're a good person to the people in your life, whether you think you mean well or not, unless you make the conscious decision to recognize and unlearn these things and do better going forward. Although it is often received as such, it is not an innately personal indictment if you are a white person being told that something you do or say is racist. The problem is doubling, tripling, and quadrupling down, taking an utter refusal to hear or consider what entire communities are actively telling you. And it's often worse than just ignoring or refusing to hear those communities that these creators are causing.
It's also another thing that she's chosen to preempt the interview, this fucking like dribble, before he even gets into the call. It's like his audience is coming here and they're getting like a dissertation on why everything they do is racist, and there is no way you can possibly solve this problem, and you should just like immediately you must submit to the mob immediately.
Harm to, often their audiences will attack those communities.
But you know, again, like, not to give him cookies because it's the bare minimum, but it is very telling that he admitted that this was coming from a place of insecurity.
I am very insecure about my ability to create interesting content or like entertain. And it's one of the reasons why I, kept making this hurtful content. I don't want you to interpret that as an excuse, but I hope that that is...
Can we talk about this? This doesn't get enough talk. Okay, this does not get enough criticism. I agree with whatever she's going to say. Maybe, I don't know, actually, who knows. But that is such a pussy fucking cop-out response. It's like the John Swan, I plagiarized you because I'm not funny thing that he said to me, dude. I'm not sure if I'm funny, so the only way that I can continue to be funny is if I said racial slurs.
What's the name of the guy, Keemstar Orbiter? Nick DeOrio.
Actually, there's like a legitimate reason for people to be mad at that. I'm such a lazy loser that instead of becoming better at comedy and gaining confidence the normal way, I made like black jokes, black humor jokes.
Relatable to other creators who maybe struggle with the same thing. I'm not confident.
Like, this is you like saying I've chosen to use black people as a punchline because I'm insecure about my own comedic ability. That is something to criticize, as much as I dislike the way that she's gone about it.
My ability to
They
entertain.
don't want victory. They don't want power. They want to endlessly critique power. Philosophy Tube's skin suit.
And I think if I had to rely on my personality...
Wait, is a Philosophy Tube skin suit just like a ContraPoint skin suit that's like peeling extra? It's like, because Philosophy Tube is already like the Joker, right? When like the Joker is wearing somebody else's face. Because she's like a morph of ContraPoints. That just seems like a what is it called when you're like the enemies in Elden Ring?
To entertain people that I wouldn't have any amount of success.
Yeah.
Because that was the thing that I picked up on too, where it's like, it's really easy to, and I'm guilty
Thank you
of
for
this
hitting the
too.
goal.
Like, I don't participate in, I used to like hate tweet stuff. I'd be like, I hate this show, so
yeah, I don't know.
Let me sit here and talk about
You'd be like a demonic entity if you're a skinwalker of a skinwalker. Like you're skin walking false skin.
And it's like, you know what? Even if I don't like the content, they did the work and they put it out in the world. Instead of me doing the same thing, I'm sitting here hating on them and shitting on them when I could be putting this energy into making the thing that I'm actually interested and passionate about. And that's what a lot of these creators that build platforms off of just hating on things, it's like, it's because you can't create anything from scratch. You have to really put yourself out there to have an original idea and put the time and energy into crafting it.
Or we just enjoy it. Like, I don't understand this whole mindset. There are a lot of drama YouTubers who cover drama because they like failed in other avenues, right? Like they tried to do gaming content or something and that was what they wanted to do. Or they tried to do movie reviews and that never stuck. And then they made one video about like Keemstar and their whole life changed, so they get locked in. It's like Boblax, right? Boblax wanted to be a drama YouTuber, but Boblax did not want to be a Twitter archive channel. But because he was unsuccessful in every other walk of life, he chose to like his passion of Twitterverses, which really wasn't a passion for him. It held him back from what he wanted to achieve. So eventually he got upset and tried to move off of it and blew up his whole channel.
Goat. Thank you for the $5.
Right? A lot of people settle on shit they don't want to do because they make it on YouTube, which already you're in like a very small percentage of people. I think like the amount of people, I think you're like the top 1% of YouTube ad revenue if you make like $1,000. I'm pretty sure. If you make $1,000 a month, I think you're the top 1%. It is extraordinarily difficult to become successful on YouTube. So usually when these guys make it, they don't want to change much. I'm kind of the opposite. I grew up like watching H3H3 fight like Keemstar and Leafy on YouTube. So this is what I've always wanted to do. I find it so weird.
Nicholas, the goat. Thank you for the $5.
And I think some of it is projection because they want to be more successful than they even are. And they're like, well, I could just become a drama YouTuber and then get everything I ever wanted in life because that's an easy way to get there, an easy shortcut to take. But I'm too good to do it that way.
The goat. Thank you for the $5, my man.
When in reality, most of these people, their issue isn't with like the topic of choice. It's that they're just generally untalented. And that's why they're like getting less views, less support, because their content isn't very interesting.
And building an audience.
Nicholas!
Thank
the
you!
Goat. I appreciate that.
Ian mustache and mullet was awful. Anyway, use this to buy a light asper to bring peace in LA.
Thank you. I just might do that. I just might do that.
Easy to piggyback on somebody else's work and then just say, well, this sucks. It's like,
who is on the $5 dono? That's I'm Alex, the British YouTuber who got a ton of allegations recently. I actually saw this. I don't know. Let me play this. We're actually going to be changing it, or at least half the time it's going to start playing Mr. Medicare because we got this new clip. Where is this? Let me just play it here. We have a new Mr. Medicare $5 donation sound.
Can you say, Nicholas the goat? Thank you for the $5, my man.
So we're gonna make that into a donation sound too.
Yeah.
Okay. You literally have not made anything. And so again, it's truly the bare minimum, but him acknowledging that was coming from a place of like, am I actually even funny? Yeah, I believe that. I believe that you didn't know if you were funny.
By the way, guys, if you hate my donation sounds and you want them to change and they're like $5, so they specifically aren't really going to change a lot. If you want to go bother YouTubers specifically to read my new donation sounds, be my guest. You can send me the clip. I'll add them in. If there's a funny YouTuber, obviously don't harass them to do it. And if they say no, don't like make them do it again. But if you say like, oh, can you say that exact same thing that somebody else did? I'll add them to the rotation if they're like relevant enough to what we cover.
Without talking shit about other people's work.
I believe that. I 190% believe that. And I think that's actually when
We need to get DSP? Well, that's how I used to get my clips. Before people just like randomly went off on me on streams, I used to go in stream chat or go to Cameo and get clips that way. Like my old intro for my original video has Wings of Redemption saying, hey, Nicholas DeOrio, we in this shit, son, or whatever. Like that was the tagline. I thought videos needed like a DJ tag where it's like, you know, fucking like if Young Metro doesn't trust you, I'm a shoot. So my DJ tag was Wings of Redemption.
Peel it back. That's actually what was a bigger problem for me when I realized it, because I'm like, me recognizing that in the same way that you recognize that both of us were inclined to give empathy and both of us were like, you know, I understand the impulse to do this. I understand the impulse to shit on these things. I understand that. But you know what makes you feel, I think, two things. One, as Black people, we're always being asked of and expected and held in the place to always have to be compassionate and empathetic to people who are mistreating us. One,
dude,
two, it's because
the next time if we dude, I wish we were gonna cover this another time too, because then we could do a drinking game where like every $20 super chat I have to take a shot and just name and apologize to 5 more Black people. And if I can't name 5 new Black people that I need to apologize to my racism for, then I have to take another shot. I would die. Could you imagine every 20? Maybe we'd have to probably set it to 50. We'd have to set it to 50. But like you'd have to, if you couldn't name 5 Black people within 7 minutes that were different from the previous 5, you just have to take another shot.
We as creators can appreciate what, okay, someone else has created and what goes into that, and that makes you have a different kind of respect for that. So it's 2 levels. We respect it on a human level.
I would reach levels of drunk that would not be able to be broadcast.
We empathize because we're humans, and then we empathize as creators. And on no level did he empathize. On none of those levels did he empathize with any of these people. So much so that even in this apology, none of them get singled. Where was the Jinx? Where was where were these people?
Why do you have to apologize to Jinx? Was the problem with the Jinx video that Jinx was Black? Or was the problem with the Jinx video that Jinx was like a shit reaction? Actually, you know what? You should apologize to Jinx. Everybody's fucking Jinx now. People just sit there, steal content, and smile at the screen now all the time on TikTok. Maybe Jinx was ahead of the time, all right? Because Jinx is, he would be like,
Keffel's tweet on Nicholas
why is
DeOrio.
XQC Swedish and fucking stupid and allowed to be the current
glad to hear
Jinx?
that me noticing Mr. Medicare read your donation sound will now turn into a permanent
Thank
fixture
you.
of the show.
Was that you?
I just saw Keffel's
Thank you, name taken.
on Nicholas DeOrio.
You know what? I think you should apologize to Jinx. Because you guys let XQC become successful.
Where was any?
Is he not Swedish? He's not Swedish? Well, he's a white dude with blonde hair and blue eyes. I thought he was Swedish. You know, I'm not good at this, all right? I'm not good at race, all right? I'm sorry. I'm happy that I'm fucking up the white people more on this stream than everybody else, because that shows that it's across the board. What is he, French-Canadian? He's French-Canadian, okay. Okay, sorry.
Jinx, that was the beginning of the end for Jinx's platform, and he's no longer on YouTube. And then I thought about that. That's also a part of it.
Sorry, the blonde hair, blue-eyed. Actually, to be clear, I have dirty blonde hair and blue eyes, so I'm very Italian. That's not really a good reason to assume someone is Swedish. But he's got like the fucking the natural bleach blonde Eminem hair. I just assume that's where he came from.
The reason why you single out the white content creator, in addition to it being a white woman, because she's still here. Because she's still here.
Guess what? Yeah, I'm sorry, dude. The blonde-haired, blue-eyed fucking guy named Felix isn't from fucking Sweden. My sincerest fucking apologies. I'm sorry, dude. I can't believe it.
She was like, come on my podcast. Let's talk. They're just going to use this to then platform each other and continue to like raise their own profile, which is why I'm like, none of this holds water to me for me because, you know, again.
Dude, I got him mixed up with PewDiePie. I thought PewDiePie was French-Canadian, dude, because his hair is brown.
Like bars in hell, but the only person that I've really seen take any real measurable responsibility is Jenna Marbles. She said, I'm out. She said, I've built a...
Dude, the Jenna Marbles was like the funniest thing I ever saw. That was like the worst video ever. The fact that they're quoting Jenna Marbles is like, hey guys, I made some fucking edgy jokes. You'll never find them. I'm not going to tell you what they were. I'm really sorry about it. I'm terrified of getting canceled. So I'm going to leave on my own accord before you find out whatever the fuck I did. That was like the weirdest shit ever, dude. Jenna Marbles left the internet for doing literally nothing wrong. And they're like, Yas, queen. Yas, queen. Get off the site.
Platform. I've done some things that I'm not proud of. And I think
unironically, I thought she'd come up on like the YouTube equivalent of the Epstein flight logs because it was such a peculiar fucking... And I don't think Jenna Marbles did any of that shit. But like the response was so weird. I'm like, what the fuck did she do? You know? Because I don't think a normal human being would throw their channel away like that if they didn't do anything. So I was like, are we going to find some shit out there? And lo and behold, nothing ever came out. I have no idea why Jenna Marbles left the internet. She showed the clips in the video. Yeah, it didn't warrant the way she was leaving, though. You understand? Like,
Nicholas! The goat.
I don't know. It was pretty fucking weird, dude. That was pretty fucking... I don't think she would have been chased off the internet for the clips that she showed. They're so fucking tame, I don't even remember them.
Motivations were twofold. I think she was burnt out on creating content.
Did she do blackface? Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I have to eat some shit on this one.
To begin with.
But again, like, I don't know. Are we really going to say that you can't make content in 2025 because you did blackface on YouTube in 2012? I mean, Justin Trudeau did blackface, and he's like the progressive face of Canada. Are we really going to say that there's no path to redemption? There's nothing you could say or do to make up for the fact that you did blackface 15 years ago? Is that like an immediate death sentence? You might as well just be like killed in Minecraft.
I think that was just...
She did not do blackface? Okay, well now that was a ridiculous tangent. I apologize for that.
You know, the timing was right.
No forgiveness. I mean, like, I obviously don't think it's like a good thing to do that, but I feel like there has to be some path to redemption.
Do this anymore. And
she over-tanned and people called it blackface. That's some shit that would happen to Gabby Hanna. The internet's not ready to find out that Gabby Hanna was dug a raw deal, despite the fact how much they love all the people who hate her. That's going to be an arc eventually. It should have been an arc a few years ago. Some of the Gabby Hanna shit was some of the dumbest fucking drama on the planet. All right? Some of it was justified criticism. Some of the shit that she got attacked for. Dude, she got accused of doing drama while Jessie Smiles was having her rainbow baby. And that was like legitimate criticism that they would hold her accountable if Jessie had a miscarriage. That was a fucking thing that happened back then. And people were like, oh my God. And yes, I am Adam McIntyre right now. I don't know if Adam McIntyre said it, but oh my God, sister. She's got her fucking rainbow baby and you're talking about YouTube drama right now.
And again, like, I don't think she needs me to accept her apology or anything, but at the same time,
I can't believe it. We're going to talk about it all We're going to talk about it all in the tour.
I'm like, you know, you're backing up what you're saying.
Yeah. Like, during a genocide? Yes. Yes, we will be talking about Gabby Hanna during a genocide. Yes.
I've profited off of this. I don't feel good about it, so I'm going to bow out. And to me, it just feels like damage.
What is a rainbow baby? I learned about it because of this drama. It's actually really sad. If you have a pregnancy that fails, right? Like if you have a miscarriage, your next baby is called the rainbow baby, and apparently you have a higher like susceptibility to like the baby being miscarried. So it is like a tense time in your life, and obviously that didn't happen, and Jessie Smiles had that child and is the mother of that child currently right now, which fantastic. I'm very happy for her. But I think it's a bit crazy to accuse a person in a YouTube drama of trying to force someone to have a fucking miscarriage.
The goat. Thank you for the $5.
Which by the way, is anyone here shocked that I could define that? After all these conversations about fucking random shit, I just break into a full explanation of Rainbow Baby on stream right now.
Control to make the apology and then just move. Because even he said at one point, he was like, I'm not going to just keep.
Gabby Hanna was on Half Baked. Oh my God, dude. Dude, one day we got to watch this. I'm getting so sidetracked. We're going to move on from this point. I'm not going to say another thing about Gabby Hanna. We had Gabby Hanna on the podcast with me, Vega, and Tom. And Vega was out with his boys when we were doing it. So he showed up obliterated to the podcast to the point where he had no memory of filming it. We had to cut so much shit in there. He called Jessie Smiles a C-word and didn't even know who she was. Had no idea. Called her a fucking C-word and said, "No, we got your back, Gabby. These fucking people are coming after you." He showed up obliterated. It was by far the funniest thing that I've ever seen in my life, to the point where I had to like profusely apologize to Gabby after this happened because it was so fucking embarrassing. But the podcast is up. You can watch it. You can watch whatever we were able to publish from it. It was so fucking funny.
Keep apologizing. I'm not going to keep.
I don't have the audio. Vega didn't send us the full cut. There's a clip that exists of some of the deleted material where he's like, "Gabby, I just gotta say that these fucking stupid." I don't know what he went off, dude. He went crazy. He has no memory of it. He actually called me the next day and he goes, "All right, we filming?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Well, I think we got Gabby today, right?" I go, "Vega, we filmed last night." Wait, what? Oh fuck, I missed it? No. You were there. You were there for that. And he's like, "No." Oh my God. And I'm like, "Dude, no, you were there. You don't remember? Did you record the audio? You sent us your audio." And he's like, "Oh no."
I recommend watching Nicholas DeOrio's latest video.
I recommend you go on Half Baked. It's actually linked in the description of every video, and find the Gabby Hanna episode. You'll probably hate half my positions in that video. Future warning: we haven't redeemed Gabby Hanna quite yet and convinced the entire audience that she's based in Epic. But yeah, that was a thing that happened.
Making content about this, and I was like, yeah, exactly. This is you going, I'm done with this, and I never have to think about it again after this. When the reality is, you've made millions off of this content. So and
and I think that is actually, you know, a place and something that I actually want to discuss, and I will discuss with him, because you know, normally when you have conversations about like reparations, just as a larger conversation.
Holy shit! What? Jesus Christ, dude, that was a crazy unpause. Guys, listen. Just to be clear, let's just have a conversation about reparations real quick before we bring it into the call. Before we have this sit down conversation with Ian, we really have to define our expectations for his reparations. Holy shit, dude! Ruin Leon in the chat. What are your reparations for this stream gonna be?
Because you know, normally when you have conversations about like reparations,
what's the name of the guy?
I'm gonna need you to do
Nick Oreo.
I'm gonna need you to do
Mr.
5
Oreo.
Hail Marys. That's what we're gonna need you to do before the stream's over. Can you do 5 like fucking? We're gonna need 5 Hail Al Sharptons before we get this thing done.
Conversation in our society that becomes a harder, more nuanced conversation, because people say, "Then who?" Blah blah. Yeah, this is very.
No,
we know who.
We can see.
We know who and we know
receipts.
when. And I'm like, well, you know what? I think.
Can we get 5 big booms for black people? See, I'm gonna get canceled. I'm gonna get in trouble. Guys, I'm so sorry to hear about like the history. Can we get 5 big booms for iDubbbz's usage of the N-word?
I'm gonna talk to him about this. I think, you know what is a meaningful step, because I know he said in the video, I am running ads on this video, and I'm gonna donate to a foundation or something. The black people you've harmed, of course, there are far more black people that have been harmed than just the individual.
Oh, guys, we only donated to charity. I haven't considered donating to every other black person. Great idea, yeah.
Content creators, and that you will have to atone for in some other way, and you probably will not be able to, right? That's just what that is, because you put that out.
Oh, okay, thank you. That's great. All right, here's the terms. Here's an impossible task you'll never be able to accomplish, okay? Once you get that done, we can then talk about you being accepted into our community.
To the world, and you can't take that back.
Thank you for hitting the goal.
Hate and white supremacy, it is what it is. But
okay, once you join white supremacy, there is no path to redemption. So then why are you having this conversation? And by the way, when does the conversation start? This is a 50-minute video. We're 16 minutes in. He's not even in the call yet.
As far as the individual,
this is like the most insane well poisoning I've ever seen.
Creators, you know who they are. You go look at the private.
By the way, thank you for donating to the goal. By the way, the goal does not benefit any causes at all whatsoever. It is purely going to me, just to be clear.
Videos on the videos, every video you did, every content cop on a Jinx, what you did to you, what you did to all of them, and what was the revenue on those videos, and pay and cut some checks. Wait, you think iDubbbz has money now? You went to Creator Clash too. You should know this. What do you mean cut some checks? That money's been fucking spent. Cut some checks.
And again, he did acknowledge.
I'm gonna need $250,000 for every time you said the N-word. Okay.
He is
fuck charity. The charity's me.
Built a career, a successful career, because he's gone on to do other things outside of YouTube. I think he's doing this like boxing series or something like that, and I'm sure he's making tons of money from that.
You don't even know that the event is not for charity. Holy shit, she's so base, she didn't do the research to even think the event was for charity. She's like she's on pace with the future. She is so wrong here. She's right in hindsight.
Yeah. He got that platform off of those videos.
Like, listen, you have to understand, all right? The creator of the video, the one on the left, literally attended Creator Clash 2. And she's like, yas queening, like this yas lighting right now, that iDubbbz is doing an event for profit and making a shitload of money off the boxing stuff. Which, to be clear, all right, they made a shitload of money off the boxing stuff, but like they wouldn't know that at the time.
and again,
actually, I don't know how much money iDubbbz specifically made. He only made a person from the first fight. He ended up losing a lot more money than he made because of Creator Clash 2. But again, that's something that she would know. She attended the fight. And probably at this point would have known it wasn't very successful, I imagine. If people were being told at the gala, it's reasonable to believe that maybe she was one of those people, or she'd heard about it.
He did acknowledge that he has built a career, a successful career, because he's...
Ruin Leon said that every donation to this stream is treated as reparations for the black youth. Thank you.
gone on to do other things outside of YouTube. I think he's doing this like boxing series or something like that, and I'm sure he's making tons of money from that.
Can we just talk about how crazy this is? Francesca's on the screen right now. She can't even name the video that iDubbbz made on her and is acting like a victim, playing the victim card, saying that like iDubbbz is taking a shitload of money off of Creator Clash. And this is 2023, so surely they know that like iDubbbz lost money here, right? When did iDubbbz make his video saying that Creator Clash 2 failed? And like this is something that could be corrected, I imagine, right? Harsh reality of Creator Clash 2. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. I might have to apologize. Dude. Oh my god. So wait, this video
Nicholas,
is literally
goat.
fucking... We don't know when it was recorded, but it was posted 10 days after Creator Clash. Here, we got July 3rd, 2023, but this happened on July 16th. So, yeah, it's reasonable that she should know this and correct this. If it was, unless it was recorded 10 days or more than 10 days before this.
He got that platform.
That is a really weird coincidence that it's this close.
Of those videos. They didn't just get the...
They presented it as non-profit, but when it was for-profit, can Billy sue them? Holy shit, dude. Could you imagine if Billy Mitchell becomes like an attack dog for YouTube drama and just starts fucking suing everybody? Like, even if it's not even related to something, we have no idea how it happens. Billy Mitchell just comes in and just sues them into submission. That would be the funniest... Dude, Billy Mitchell coming in to be the commentary lawsuit guy, just mowing down people with lawsuits, would be fucking hilarious. Like, he uses his powers for good.
Opportunity to sell tickets and do, you know, these big events just because he's a great fighter. No, he got to do that because he built a ginormous audience on YouTube.
Right.
And I don't know who his wife is. I don't watch her content, but his success has also given her an ability to have a platform. Right?
Oh,
There's like a
no!
trickle down. To your point about reparations.
Anissa, you profited off of anti-black racism. Where's your apology?
We can see that the content that he created has opened doors for him beyond YouTube. So
where, at the Daily Wire?
Again, personally, I don't need a check from him. I'm good.
And I love that for you.
But I love that for me.
I love that for you. You don't need that iDubbbz check, even though you have no... You can't even show us the video that he made on you.
Too. Honestly, I really do. But at the same time, it's like an apology is not enough for me.
Yeah.
And I don't...
I don't need your money, but I will not accept your apology. No, I will not elaborate. Like, who cares? Who the fuck cares? Who the fuck cares about you? Who the fuck cares about your opinion? It's for the majority. Of course you can't fucking make every single person, like, accept your apology online. But I write those people off. I never think of them again. If they're not interested in me, I'm not interested in them being in my audience. I move on.
Think there's anything that he can do that will ever be enough.
Yeah.
And I think that him and any of these other creators who rebrand, if you genuinely...
Every second you think about somebody who's written off your channel is a waste of your time when you could be out finding new people who do like your channel. It's literally how you stunt your growth as a creator to get too hyper aware of every person who's left. When you start YouTube, there's going to be some names in the chat who aren't going to be there 10 years from now. That's okay. They've moved on. You should too.
Are looking to better yourself, you have to acknowledge and accept that it won't be enough for some people.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. I don't think about you. I don't lose sleep over you. You should be moving forward in a way that's...
Are you like the protagonist to life? This is like fucking Thanos. Like, I don't even know who you are. Every second that I'm hearing them talk makes me more mad that iDubbbz came in here and just fucking... got obliterated.
Repairing harm and being better every day of your life.
Yeah.
Because that's the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Like, not being a racist, not being a bigot is the bare minimum. We're not giving out cookies for that.
Oh, yay, finally, dude. Holy shit, the interview can start 20 minutes into the video.
Thank you so much.
I knew that quote, not being a racist is the bare minimum. I didn't know it came from this. Holy shit.
Much. I am surprised that you agreed to do it, but very delighted.
It's one of those situations where it's like, hey, this is not good enough, and I cannot elaborate on how you could make it better. So it's up to you to figure that out, but we will never accept your apology. Just know that what you're doing isn't good enough, and I have no idea what would be good enough, and I will not be providing suggestions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to expand my horizons a little bit. 2016 me, probably wouldn't.
Listen, I'm surprised 2023 you were doing it either.
Oh, hell yeah. I appreciate that. I take that as a compliment.
Yeah, listen, I honestly, I want to start off by saying that I very much so respect that you were even trying to take all the accountability and the ownership of it all. I respect that you were even coming over to my side of the internet to come talk about it, because I am very much so a racial investigator. And
okay, well, hold on. I would hang up immediately. What is your side of the internet? Do you mean like the dust corner in the side of the room? This channel has 100,000 subscribers. Imagine if I turned around and said, my corner of the internet. Like, this is my side. All right, you guys have the other side of the internet. This is Nick DeOrio's. It's such a self-inflated sense of worth. Okay, not everything I fucking say is racist, okay? Stop reading into everything I say. And yes, she is a racial investigator. She will be watching. So I don't need my chat to psyop me into thinking I said something wrong.
The internet.
She's a racial investigator. She's coming for me.
Talk about it, because I am very much so a racial investigator. And
like, anytime I talk about commentary community, I refer to them as like the niche community, because that's what they are. Like a small niche corner of the internet, like a subsect.
And people find me to be an intimidating character, so I'm like,
what the fuck is that? She investigates white people. That's what she does, dude.
Accountability and the ownership of it all. I respect that you.
I will decide when it is enough.
Been coming over to my side of the internet.
6 months of hard labor.
About it, because I am very much so a racial investigator.
More like a racial instigator? Well, you're not wrong.
Investigator, and people find me to be an intimidating character, so I'm like, and I try to be really transparent, because I don't like to ambush people or anything like that. It's not my style.
I don't like to ambush people. By the way, here's 20 minutes of ambush that we put up there before. Here's 20 minutes of well poisoning for your audience to find out how nothing you say will be acceptable in this conversation.
They don't enjoy it. I don't like stressful content or stressing people out. So that's why I'm like, let me go into it and be as transparent as possible. I want to be as nice as possible without being accused of being.
Did you tell him that you were going to maul him before this fucking interview even started?
Too nice, while also being as transparent about what are some of my takeaways and thoughts, and also giving you the opportunity to expand, and let's try work to a good place.
Yeah, you have a very tough job. I don't, I know what you mean. You got to walk a line.
You get it, exactly. So basically, let me tell you the starting, how we ended up here. So, I went to Creator Clash with my boy Alex. And funny enough, he actually had tried to fill me in on the controversy, but I never care about anything. So this
Alex who? Does anybody know what Alex this is?
I just saw Keffel's tweet on Nicholas.
I thought it was Alex. For some reason, Alex Rosen is the face that I saw, and I really don't think it was him.
This is how the conversation went. He invited me to come to Creator Clash. He called me to be like, hey, just so you know, like, there is a little bit of.
Oh yeah, he was doing this shit, right? It's that one. It's the Alex that was. Dude, fuck off. Why did you write? Immediately the whole chat just starts writing Keemstar.
Controversy. He's done some edgy content in the past, and I said, is edgy white people speak for racist? And he said.
Yes, yeah. I love jokes like that. My wife makes those all the time.
Said yes, and I said okay, and I said all right, and that was all my, because listen, I'm of the mindset we live in America, we live in a racist society, we live in these kinds of things. I am not putting it on you as an individual or anything like that, and I don't really want to take an individualistic approach to trying to nail you to the cross. I more so just want to see different things, and I think patterns that we can unpack, and maybe it could make it better for some people to understand what are issues Black people have.
What a fucking opening statement, Chad. How do you respond?
Content or going forward in these kinds of things, right? So that's kind of where I'm coming from. So I saw the apology, watched the whole video, and I texted.
We need her to talk to Chud Logic. That would be fucking Kino.
Texted both Alex and my editor, and I said, this is the best of them I've seen. As far as apology videos and seeing content creators throughout the years and actors, famous people, public figures make apologies, I thought it was the most accountable I've ever seen it be. So I want to give you all the credit for that.
That's great to hear. For me, it's been a a huge relief, because I think for me it's like,
oh no,
you know, even though I was taking a stance on, you know, using slurs and, you know, being very like just not wanting to be responsible for how other people felt,
Nicholas,
me existing in the world and, you know, trying to, you know, live outside.
No, you're not allowed to live. That wasn't part of the deal. What are you talking about? Me. Whoa.
Of my bedroom at home.
Yeah.
I found it to be very challenging to interact with people without feeling some amount of guilt of like, have you seen my videos? You know, how would you interpret what I've said?
Yeah.
And
is iDubbbz trying to say that he would walk up to like a minority and immediately feel compelled to apologize for his content? Like, what is he? Because obviously iDubbbz has told the story a million times where he went to like a YouTube convention and somebody walked up to him and said N-word F-slur, right? And he got like really embarrassed in public. And that was one of the things that prompted him to change his mind on his content. I don't know.
And, you know, how uncomfortable have I made you? And it, you know, it interaction after interaction,
it took one black lady getting mad for you to 100% defend Ian. Good lord. Here's the problem. I agree with some of the stuff that she's saying. I don't agree with any of the logic she uses to get there at all whatsoever. You have to defend Ian to an extent for the preliminary stuff, but he is responsible for coming here and looking like this much of a pussy and just sitting here and taking this lashing publicly. Like, it is actually embarrassing. What is he going to do next? Go on an Asian guy's podcast and talk all about the fucking the zipper slur? Like, I didn't think about what that would do. Wait, you guys are saying stop Asian hate right now. I didn't realize I contributed it to. Like, is he going to go on like a person's podcast of every race and just get like 50 lashings for his fucking behavior? How many of these am I supposed to watch?
kind of added up to me saying like, yeah, something needs to be said.
Yeah,
at least.
And I feel that, and I understand that, and I very much so am glad that you at least even came to that spot, because that's more than most ever do. But what I guess I wonder is, why not then? Because the trend I've realized very often, I see this in the space a lot, is a tendency for, you know, white content creators to be called out for things present day that were racist and bigoted then. But there were always black people and people present and marginalized people telling them that then. Why not hear it when they say it?
I think generally, I think for me, it was, I think a sort of a policy or like a just very black and white thinking. Like as soon as I...
Oh no, dude! Look at her fucking face! It was very black and white thinking, dude. The entire room fucking starts screech laughing at that. Holy shit, dude. This guy, he's fucking stumbling over his thoughts here, and that's the first thing that comes out of his mouth. She is not happy with that answer.
Because for me, I think it's about caring about how other people are feeling, period. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily just marginalized people. I think I personally had an issue with like caring about people's feelings at all, because I felt like as soon as I would open that door, then like...
You were a fucking incel virgin who lived in your house and you perpetuate what you were on everyone else. You were an insecure fucking moron who literally stumbled into a popular YouTube career by faking being an edgelord and faking like being an entertaining, confident guy who made critical videos on other YouTubers. The minute you were outed and the glass shattered, you literally were put in a position where you could never be funny again. And it had nothing to do with slurs or racism. It had everything to do with the fact that you were like a fucking 27-year-old virgin who met his fucking wife, who now rules his entire life.
I felt like I would be a lot less safe to, you know, do and say...
I mean, look at the way he like injects himself into every situation. It's not just about Ethan and Hila taking shit online. It's remember what they did to me and my wife. When he's talking about the incel losers harassing his wife, he's talking about him before he met her. He would be a participant in this. And he thinks that everyone is just like him. He's had the awakening in his mind that everybody is actually iDubbbz. He's the protagonist. We're all iDubbbz archetypes. And we just need somebody to tell us we're wrong so we could go to the right side.
Whatever I wanted, and now that's kind of like an in, I guess, for people to criticize, or an in for, you know, people to, you know, because I'm essentially exposing myself as like, oh, I'm now thinking about how other people are feeling, you know, but I guess to your point, I don't have any black friends.
Why did you just say that? Dude, is that not on the H3 soundboard? Can we get that on the H3 soundboard, dude? Holy fuck, this guy just dropped the truth. Dude, the context wagon here was very interesting.
I have some... I don't have any black friends. I have some friends who are people...
Dude, he just used the reverse I have black friends. The reason why I was racist isn't because I have black friends and they say it's okay. It's because I don't have black friends to tell me I was wrong. Dude, he's like throwing up their expectations.
People of color, but, you know, it's never... I grew up in Southern California.
Ah, Southern California, an iconically not racist location.
Yeah.
And I'm certain if I grew up around more black people, I wouldn't have felt...
What part of California had Rodney King?
Nicholas,
I'm just curious.
The goat. Thank you for the $5, my man.
Is that he's not in the, is that the Northern California or like Middle California?
Nearly as comfortable.
LA? I don't know. California is big as shit, dude. I don't know.
Saying the things that I was saying.
Yeah.
And
absolutely no black people in Southern California. Yeah, I know, because it's all Mexicans, dude. Can you believe that there are like Mexican people living in a former Mexican territory? Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, I think the more interactions that I've had with black content creators, and just, you know, regular everyday people, the more I've realized, like, this matters.
Yeah.
Nicholas,
so, you know,
the goat.
And I don't say this as
it's funny because like I am a person who like I think there were maybe 3 black kids in my graduating class in high school, and we were a large school, just to be clear. And I live in fucking New York, you know, a very ethnically diverse area. So, I mean, this does happen. I'm not saying he's a liar, because I'm literally like living proof that this does happen.
Indictment. I say this as a
and it's public school too. It's public school.
Transparent thing that we would all realize. And I appreciate your answer, because I think your answer allows me to like more clearly parse that out as didn't care. And I don't mean that in a, you know, but didn't care. These are not people that you, and that was something I think kind of struck me, right? Because in watching your video, a thing I wanted to ask you about was, how come Tana, of all the, you only singled out one?
I've told this story before. I'm not kidding you. One of the black kids in my graduating class was adopted to a white family. And then one of them was albino. That was, I had a really weird, like, like, that was my demographic here growing up.
Person to apologize to. Why her?
I think because I kind of just took it to like another level. Because I think a lot of commentary channels, they can feel very comfortable.
And by the like, and dude, I'm not even kidding you. One of the black kids at my school also played on the hockey team. So we broke some norms there. That was good.
Comfortable and justified in speaking about a variety of topics, because they're not like in person harassing people. And
was he good? Yeah, he was great. He was great.
A lot of them are avoiding saying like the slurs, like I was saying. They're keeping it to like a certain...
Do black people usually avoid hockey? Go look up the statistics on black NHL players. There are not a lot of them. Now, I have to imagine that a reason that happens is there's a wealth disparity between black and white people in America. That is something that that is something that absolutely happens. Hockey is also notably not a cheap sport, so it's extraordinarily difficult to get your kid to be NHL ready and give them all of these opportunities and stuff. So, like, being good at hockey is very much pay to win. You're either like an extremely gifted player, or your parents have had you on skates since you're 2 months old and you're fucking like doing speeds. I used to do speed skating. My speed skating coach once pulled me aside and said, "Listen, Nick, I need you to start coming to these things at 1 p.m. And I said, Barbara, I am in school. I have Spanish class, 8th period. And she goes, well, do you want to learn Spanish or do you want to play fucking hockey? And I'm like, I don't know. Probably hockey, I guess. And then she goes, listen, Nick, you're a larger child, all right? God gave you that body. It's time to start checking. And I go, I don't know if God gave this to me. I think it was Doritos or something. That was my response back to her. And she just looked at me like I had 15 heads. She was, you could look her up. Her name was Barbara Williams. She's like in the Hockey Hall of Fame or something, because she was the speed skating coach of the New York Islanders in like the years that they won all those Stanley Cups. That was my and that's the point. That's what I'm trying to articulate here is hockey is an expensive sport. And I wasn't, and listen, I played fucking D-League roller hockey in college. I didn't play I was not good enough to play fucking real hockey. We essentially played like a fucking beer league, competitively at my college or whatever. And I played ice hockey throughout high school. So it is a very expensive sport, even at the level that I played.
Certain level where they look around their community and they're
no, I did ice. My school that I chose to go to didn't have an ice hockey team. So I started playing roller hockey. I played a little roller hockey in high school, but it wasn't really my thing. And then that was my only option to continue playing in college.
saying like, well, I'm not doing anything like that polarizing. I'm kind of I'm riding the line a little bit more.
If you dropped out of high school, you might have made C League. Well, yeah, but then I wouldn't have got to college. And if I didn't get to college, then I never would have played again.
And I think
they didn't have hockey, but they had speed skating. No, here's the okay. High school sports are insane because maybe you people aren't sports minded or whatever. High school sports are typically, I think, free. I never played the approved high school sports. I was never in fucking track. I never played football. Maybe you have to pay for like small things, maybe uniforms and equipment. I imagine maybe equipment's not given to you, but like the league prices are usually waived as far as I'm aware, right? You people, I mean my chat. I don't think my chat does sports, just to be clear. So yeah, I never played football. I never played baseball for my school. I had quit by that time. But I did play hockey, and hockey was like a couple grand because it was affiliated with the school, but they don't have an ice rink on the premises. We had to go to like an off-school ice rink to play in an off-school league and like get off-school whatever. And this is like, it's thousands of dollars to play. Skates are like $600. Pads and all that stuff is probably like another grand. And like you're going through sticks like crazy because these fucking kids don't know how to skate and they don't know how to play. So they're fucking snapping their $250 pieces of fiberglass on the fucking boards and shit, slamming them like morons, right? Hockey is extremely expensive. And you don't just get enough practice by doing the one a week they give you. You're going out of your way to hire speed skating coaches or whatever, or attend clinics that all cost additional money. I skated with the Ferraro brothers in New York. One of them, I think, played for the New York Rangers. I think another one ended up playing for Vancouver. So I skated at their like local ice rink or whatever. And that was like an additional fee. Like, and it all depended. Like if you didn't do any of that, you were behind because all the other kids were doing that. To remain competitive in your shitty high school league that's not even travel, you had to go hire thousands of dollars worth of trainers to get you more ice time so you'd have a better opportunity to excel. It was extraordinarily competitive. I coached as well. I coached, I think, junior varsity, and I coached varsity high school hockey after I was done. And the parents are also incredibly fucking crazy.
Nicholas!
As is any other sports thing.
Thank you for the $5, my man.
For Tana specifically, she was, I think, the youngest person I've made a video about, and
I actually wore 69 in my fucking senior year. In my varsity year, I wore number 69.
Keffels appreciated the shout out.
I don't know. It was just she was. I guess she was also in. I think the worst part about it is going to her meetup because she was in
watching.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is it not interesting to you? Well, you can watch in 24 hours, sir. Bye.
Feel like a safe space. She's already putting herself out there at a meet and greet. I wouldn't even do meet and greets. She was doing a meet and greet.
Is this really lolly?
Wait, hold on. Anissa did a meet and greet?
It was, I guess, this person I've made a video about, and I don't know. It was just she was. I guess she was also in.
Oh, it was Tana. Yeah. Tana Mojo used to do like meet and greets and stuff when she was like. pre-Cody Co, allegedly. She was doing meet and greets and shit. Tana Mojo always had a vocal audience. That's why she was able to get too many people to go to TanaCon, and why it's funny that iDubbbz can't get enough people to go to his fucking Creator Clash.
I think the worst part about it is going to her meetup, because she was in what would feel like a safe space. She's already putting herself out there at a meet and greet. I wouldn't even do meet and greets. She was doing a meet and greet, and I jump scared her, and who knows what my intentions were. She had no idea. No one there knew what my intentions were, and that's a scary situation to be in. That's
Nick
horrible.
would be a good goalie.
Yeah. No, that's
being a goalie is crazy, especially in ice hockey. That shit hurts. One day, I was literally the last thing, and we're gonna go back to the fucking video. I'm sorry. Holy shit. One day, nobody had pads. The goalie didn't show up. We were gonna fucking forfeit the game if nobody did that. So I literally stood in the fucking net in regular pads and just took shots. I was like diving into the fucking puck. I did that for a period and a half. It hurt like hell. It was it was like the most psychotic thing I ever did, because these people were taking like very hard slap shots at me.
Absolutely valid. You're right. There is a fair situation to that, and that makes me think of Francesca Ramsey.
I think I made like 6 saves, and we went into the second period down 2-0, and then the goalie showed up halfway through.
Who I have spoken with. She tells us a story about being...
Hockey is your version of Watch Talk. Here's the fun part. We also do Watch Talk.
Being terrified.
It's double whammy.
In the airport when she runs into one of your fans.
When I encountered one of his fans in the airport, I had to ask myself, am I going to exit this...
Wait, why are we... We're
DeOrio.
cutting back to the
Mr.
previous
DeOrio.
conversation. That's crazy. Thank you. Appreciate it.
No, that's absolutely valid. You're right. There is a fair situation to that, and that makes me think of Francesca Ramsey, who I have spoken with. She tells us a story about being terrified in the airport when she runs into one of your fans.
When I encountered one of his fans in the airport, I had to ask myself, am I going to exit this conversation and continue to have my life?
I'm muted. I'm sorry. Holy shit. I'm actually so fucking mad. Oh my god. Wait, what the fuck did she just say? She thought that someone was gonna kill her in cold blood at the airport? At the airport? At the fucking airport? What?
When I encountered one of his fans in the airport, I had to ask myself, am I going to exit this conversation and continue to have my life?
Listen, unless it's September 11th, 2001, or any time after that, you're probably at your safest inside of an airport terminal. Even on September 11th, you were probably fairly safe in the airport terminal. Like, do you think, oh, I've met an iDubbbz fan in person. I'm going to be killed now. This is so fucking unserious. It's actually insane that there are people who watch this content and they're like, yas, queen, yas, sister, keep going.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, my life could be in danger, right?
Yeah.
Like, and so, again, that's...
Like, dude, the vaccine hits at that exact moment, dude. No, I'm kidding. Dude, I met the iDubbbz fan and all of a sudden I got taken over by fucking adrenochrome or something, whatever the fuck that is.
That's why when there's all of these conversations about don't call me a Karen and don't call me white and don't call me racist, it's like when those names are used.
Who is this person? Why is she afraid of iDubbbz fans? Apparently she's lied and said that iDubbbz made a video on her. That's the allegation my chat is levying towards her. That like iDubbbz never even made this video. He was just racist one time, so a black person was terrified of his fans.
Your feelings are hurt.
And by racist one time, I mean said the N-word and the F-slur a lot in his videos.
But when someone calls me the N-word, I have to wonder, is this person going to try and kill me? Am I going to lose my life right now?
Who comes up there and says...
So you're like, is she claiming right now that she was at the airport minding her own business, and then an iDubbbz fan walked up to her and said, hey, aren't you Francesca from the Unfunny Comedy Special? You're a fucking... And then just called her the N-word straight up? Did everyone clap after she, like, defeated him in combat? I'm sorry, I X'd out. I don't believe that happened.
I watch and I know you from iDubbbz videos and the fear she felt in not knowing what this person is for her. And I think why I asked the Tana question is this. And I think you're right to apologize to Tana. I don't think you're wrong to apologize.
Why are gay people not making a big deal out of this? Because they've chosen to side with Ian on this drama. And by that, I mean Adam McIntyre.
Sadana, I think what I really want to unpack is the
Because
decision
Adam McIntyre is probably the only one who cares enough to say anything.
to apologize her exclusively, because if you watch that video as someone like me who didn't watch your content and who isn't familiar of the larger array, you would think that this is the only person, you know, or maybe the way I read it was, okay, he's been in trouble for using this kind of language and racial slurs and all of this, but the only person he individualizes is a white woman. And he talks about, he says, you know, he apologizes maybe to the black community in large, and it would lead you to—
I need to hear, what do you think iDubbbz is going to say to her here to try to, like, quell this criticism? Yeah, you didn't apologize specifically to any named black people. Because realistically, there were no named black people that were harmed by iDubbbz. I don't think that Jinx was racist to iDubbbz intentionally. I've never seen him do anything like hateful towards a specific black person. He said a slur out to the ether to people he would never know or never meet, and maybe he did offend some people, but he wouldn't know who he offended. So I'm not really sure what iDubbbz could do here at all whatsoever.
believe that no black person was individually picked on or targeted, and that's not the case. And I think what I find interesting is that even in apologizing for
I don't know how
racist things,
how would I navigate this if there's no named victim that I could possibly jump to, and also simultaneously say that Jinx was not one?
a white woman is who was apologized to, as though there weren't black people who were called the N-word. And I wonder, because that took me down a rabbit hole of watching, you know, videos, and I saw a content cop you did on Jinx.
On camera. You don't get a break in the beginning. No.
So this is going to be the most racist clip she could possibly pull from it, because that's the only reason it would be in here. So what we're going to see, we don't have to watch the video. We can watch whatever clip she pulled up, because that would be the bar, right?
On Jinx.
On camera.
You don't get a break in the she's not going to pick a clip that's not racist to articulate this argument if there's a better clip in the video.
Beginning. No resting. 100% 24/7 grind. Damn, this nigga's on the grind.
Okay, so that's okay. All right. Okay.
Sure shouldn't say it's about that time. It should say it's about that grind. 4 videos a day, non-stop editing. I'm like an animator. I put so much work into my videos. I'm like sitting there keyframe after keyframe trying to figure out how to put this fucking video on the corner of my screen. Grind, mad grind. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Nothing but grind. I'm on the grind. My house.
Well, to be clear, all right, you say that he can't give back to the black community, but he literally gave Technicals his entire speech pattern. So maybe he has?
This ain't a normal house. It's a grind house. You gotta eat, sleep, and shit.
If you close your eyes, it's indistinguishable. Especially when he says the N-word.
YouTube. You gotta suck dick and shit YouTube. Oh, this is so motivational. Holy shit. Oh, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it right now.
If he said something about Smash players, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
I'm gonna sit on my bed. I'm gonna sit on the end of my bed. I'm gonna set up the camera. And I'm gonna watch some fucking videos. Fuck editing. Fuck that shit. What am I?
You know what? I'm gonna concede this point. I think that if he really wants to fucking make this thing, he probably should have mentioned this video in particular. I don't think it's like a necessity. I don't think it matters really in the grand scheme of things. But if he was going out here and talking about Tana Mojo, which I also don't think that he really had to apologize for either, so I guess my position on that is pretty similar. Maybe mention this part, because it's not the fact that you're going after Jinx, it's the fact that you're going after Jinx using stereotypes, and that seems like something that he would care about now, so yeah, this is a fair criticism.
A faggot? Dude, are you gonna edit your video? No, what do I look?
Okay, unpause. Jesus Christ, dude, that was a crazy pause right there. Holy shit.
Fucking gay?
And I wonder why a Jinx wouldn't receive an apology, someone, or what, because I think and I credit you for this in your apology, I actually did really like this, the part where you acknowledge I didn't feel comfortable in my own ability.
Did he hear that? Like, is that why his face looks like this right now? Is that why he's like fucking, she played the clip for him and he's just stun-locked, or has he not seen the clip and is only finding out about it in post?
Be funny, or my own ability and my own personality or whatever it is, and so I leaned on this, and I get that, and because on some level, on a human level,
he's holding in his laughter. I don't think that's the case.
Understand things, but
if it was Augie, he'd be holding in his laughter. He'd be like, it would be like the Augie Def Noodles conversation. This is literally the Augie Def Noodles conversation, and Def Noodles is faking it, but she's not.
Content creator on a public figure level of making things I understand what it is to have insecurities, and I respect, I think it's big to admit that. But on the other level, I think to myself, well, did you know that then, right? Are you aware now of this insecurity, or did you know it then? And if so, Why is the same not grace shown to a person like Jinx when you decide to make a content cop about that?
I gotta be honest with you. I haven't seen this in years. I think that if you're gonna take Ian at face value, like she clearly is, this might be a more reasonable critique out of all the stuff she said so far.
And, you know, basically what you're honing in on is saying is they're untalented or there isn't work that goes into their videos, right?
But now she lost me because Jinx is untalented. There is no work that goes into her videos. Hell, I'm reacting to these videos and I feel like I contribute a decent amount. There's not really much work that goes into my videos. So I know the guy who was just straight up stealing did less work than me.
Why isn't it sufficient enough to have your platform,
right? The problem with Jinx isn't because he's not untalented because he's a black guy. He's untalented because he's fucking stealing content. That's unfortunately the fucking reality of the situation. There are plenty of white guys who maybe didn't get as much shit for it, and you could try to make an argument there. But Jinx isn't retroactively talented because iDubbbz is like no longer racist or something.
You already have your platform that is in some way being boosted and made on this kind of bigoted content. That's one thing to exist in that space, but to not allow this other black creator to exist. And in the same way, you call these black people, you call black people themselves.
Oh, hold on. Beazle has apparently responded to me on Twitter right now. iDubbbz never made a video on Francesca Ramsey.
I didn't make a video specific about Francesca ever, so she was never like you know, a content cop target or anything like that. But there, you know, if the issue was pressed further that I made a video about her, that would be a boundary. I'd be like, well, no, I didn't.
Wait, so he sat here and listened to all this shit, and he didn't Wait, then, dude, Francesca Ramsey literally self-inserted and like mixed up two different white people.
Nicholas, the goat. Thank you for the $5.
That is one of the, and he's even a pussy when he's explaining it. Thank you, Beazle. He's even a pussy while he's explaining it. Holy shit. That's crazy.
The N-word, but they aren't singled out in the apology, and I wonder why it is that that's the case. Love it.
They can't stand to see.
But this is why this is why they call him spineless. He sat here about someone who's lying to him, and he's like, thank you for giving me this humbling. Like, what?
Not just exclusive to black people, this is marginalized people, period. This is what you're seeing happening during Pride, right? This idea that if I think you are less than me, how dare you like yourself? Exactly. How dare you be happy? How dare you be successful?
Yes.
When throughout history, I've been told that my whiteness and me doing the bare minimum is the standard.
Yes.
And now y'all taking my jobs, you taking my views, you
No. You're just not talented. I'm sorry. That's not how it works. If iDubbbz didn't say the N-word, his views would not relegate back to you. This is like a ridiculous level of entitlement that's extremely fucking cringe.
Out
Yes.
here taking my
If there weren't so many white racist creators, maybe people would watch my videos. Well, have you considered being talented? Have you considered being entertaining?
Partners, like you are living the
They're
life
not your fucking views
that I'm supposed to have.
Yes.
And I'm just minding my business.
Mm-hmm.
They took our jobs! Fucking woke-ish. I'm kidding.
Well, I think Jinx specifically, I think all of these creators to, varying degrees that I've made content cop videos on, I think they deserve...
Like, unless YouTube, started fucking... I don't know, doing Disney castings to decide the trending tab. I'm not necessarily understanding the correlation with your shitty viewership and iDubbbz's booming success.
Their own apology in their own way. I think Jinx is definitely one of them. I think the type of content he was making, in the same way that I felt...
There's zero audience overlap? Are you saying that, iDubbbz's audience doesn't have any racial investigators that would actually really love Francesca Ramsey and her content? Really?
I guess it wasn't...
They don't have any comedians or racial investigators that would love these two fine women?
Necessarily that, Jinx making reaction content, nowadays that's it's commonplace, right? So, he, in a lot of ways, initiated that trend. And I think, the content I was making, it was just... It was cheap, I think, in kind of the same way that some people can view reaction content as cheap. So I think in a lot of ways...
No, I'm sorry. Criticizing people online in scripted videos is not the same as reaction content. As someone who does reaction content, clearly.
I am guilty of what I was criticizing Jinx for. I was being very...
Unless you're doing like Sunny V2 levels of like, at this point you don't even really know what's happening in the video and you're making it anyway. Then sure, maybe. I think the Sunny V2 slop hadn't existed at this point. Or if it did, it was greatly exaggerated in terms of... Sunny V2 used to be a normal YouTuber. I know that's like hard to believe, but he used to be like a normal commentary YouTuber before he became like the default commentary, like to the point where I think AI could create a better Sunny V2 video than his team of people who work on them.
Just generally uncaring. And yeah, like I said, I was insecure about my ability to entertain, and yeah, I think, you know, Jinx deserves his own apology, and I'm open to personally talking.
Ooh, that's a good response by iDubbbz. I don't think that Jinx should be like loaded up with all the fuck. That was a good turn by iDubbbz.
To Jinx, or whatever he might be open to.
Yeah, I mean, because listen, I think I don't think it's that there's an aversion to
Seven Alive,
right? Like,
fuck, dude.
If I think of myself as a proxy representative for the Black community right now,
I'm just casual. I'm a proxy for the Black community. Tell me what would you really say to me?
Forgiving you, right? Like if I think of myself as a proxy representative for the Black community right now, I don't think it's that anybody has the aversion to forgiving you. I think it's the recognition that it doesn't matter whether we do or don't. Because if we had the ability to cancel you, you wouldn't have been successful in the first place. Because Black people who have a problem with you now had a problem with you then. They were just being ignored. And so similarly, what I think is the thing that I really want to unpack is that
I like the argument that if you're Black, you couldn't become big enough to criticize people and cancel people in the past, when Tariq Nasheed was one of the loudest motherfuckers during this exact time frame, and there were constantly people trying to shit on Tariq Nasheed for good reasons and bad reasons, and they were all basically unsuccessful until he talked himself out of relevancy later on. To act like there were no Black influencers at this time is ridiculous.
You're allowed to apologize.
D'Angelo Wallace is a little after this point. D'Angelo Wallace was still like a 100K YouTuber here. Tariq, we have to dig back to like 2015, 2016, 2017. Tariq Nasheed is your best example.
You don't, or you do, come forward, and I appreciate the approach that you've taken and that you've chosen to on your own without a larger controversy be forced to. But the thing is, what I noticed when I went down the deep dive is most of the Black people that you did single out are no longer making YouTube.
Well, you can't talk about Comedy Shorts Gamer because Comedy Shorts Gamer was making very specific content. Do you remember, like, dude, all right, I'm not going to get in trouble for this, but you're like, well, Black people did do well on YouTube. Here's my example. It's the people who did skits where they ate chicken aggressively. It's like, maybe that's probably not your best example. Like that was the humor back then. It's like, wow, guys, back in fucking whatever, dude, there were so many Black creators on YouTube. Here, look.
Oh boy. Oh baby, it's gonna be good tonight.
I think he's like one of the top subscribed Black creators.
Oh, this is good stuff. Oh, you're mine tonight. I'm gonna save you for later. Oh, today's gonna be a good day. Look at that bird. Come down so I can eat you too.
Yeah.
You have to die, woman. Give me one of your hands.
I promise I do not eat your chicken,
no,
please.
It's too late.
Please don't kill me. I do not eat your chicken, please.
He got his whole family together to do a KFC skit. So, and this is in 2020, so I don't know if Comedy Shorts Gamer is a good example for this.
Videos. They're no longer content creating in one way.
That's more racist than anything I've ever made. Just to be clear, that is more racist than any iDubbbz video ever was. That's more racist than anything I've ever made.
I've been terrified through years of harassment.
2020, yeah, dude. Yeah, it was COVID chicken. It was COVID fried chicken.
Jessica was harassed so much that it's a part of her Wikipedia page is that she's went through a series of harassment. And I think that's what's notable to me, because I watched Tana's response to your apology.
Yeah, his dog was evaporated before that video was released. That's how new that is.
Talks about how she also respected it and how she would be open to a world where she talked to you, and how she herself has been canceled, and her
He went all the way to Yemen to get the KFC? Yeah, dude.
Is Dark Vibe AU a virgin?
Is the thing that
no,
really
I'm
is
not.
the ire.
Why would so many people be Googling that?
Can you pull up the old Comedy
Nick, can you
Shorts
pull
gaming
up the
intro?
old Comedy Shorts gamer into?
Why? Comedy Shorts gamer intro? What is that? What is this? This was the old Comedy Shorts gamer intro. Alright, let's see.
Hey baby, my name's Comedy Shorts Gamer.
What? What? Dude, okay, so who the fuck said Deji was a good example of this? Holy shit, dude. Jesus Christ. 2010 YouTube was wild? What the fuck? Oh, God, okay.
Of the community and seeing that is that you have the ability to make a platform on bigoted content, attack a black content creators doing similar things, or basically target them as not talented or not this or whatever it is, and essentially run them off the platform. But white content creators, even the ones guilty of doing those things, are able to pivot.
All right.
And I think
so now I feel like I can understand why people. So it's like I can't really in this current day and age understand why any of these content creators did blackface. But the intro for that guy's videos, obviously the blackface thing does not apply, was raping a woman. That was every intro started with Deji raping a woman. And it's like, yeah, no, maybe this time was kind of just fucked. I don't know. Maybe it was a pretty fucked up time.
that's the thing that worries people, and like something I've been mulling over and how to go about this. Because
and it's funny because the guys whose intros were like raping a woman would be the first guy to come out here and be like, these fucking YouTube drama people are just doing this for views. They're just doing this for views and money, man. They just want to make fucking money, man. They don't have any fucking talent, so they do drama to make views. And it's like for years you had a rapist as an intro.
Sometimes you worry that, well, if I say it's okay or if you forgive people, then it incentivizes other people to do the same. Like, what is to say there aren't going to be, because there is, it happens all the time of people saying, I want to do something and I don't think I have the talent to do it. I don't think I have this.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't ever want to hear from KSI or Deji about why drama at YouTube is bad, which I believe we have heard from Deji. Because it's like, these guys made skits of like black stereotypes and fucking, and Deji's intro was raping a woman. Listen, I don't know if you're gonna make an argument, right, that like I'm doing something for views or whatever, so it like affects my moral standing. You built your whole career off of fucking crazy shit. So I don't know.
To let me make my platform on punching down, and I will be able to at a later date say sorry and move on.
I think that's an extremely valid fear, and I think that's kind of what, from what I heard from Francesca, that's really frustrating, and yeah. I don't think it's fair. I think, you know, it's good for people to change, obviously. Yeah. I think the level that
dude, I love people are like make it faster. It's at 125 right now, and if you go faster, you don't get to hear all of the insane pauses when iDubbbz is desperately fucking clamoring for like someone off screen or like for him to think of like the golden word here that will get him out of this extremely awkward interaction.
Response that I've gotten.
I think the reason why there's 20 minutes of preamp to this video is because the interview is only 30 minutes, and he was like petrified.
Anywhere from, you know, one end of the spectrum where like commentary channels are saying like, I don't think he has any reason to apologize, to like maybe
this is 125 right now.
Francesca Ramsey at the other end.
Well, if you want me to go slower, we could put it back down to 1. Oh, actually, this isn't 125. All right, never mind. I was going to do a joke and it didn't work.
And saying like, this isn't like even close to being enough.
Yeah.
Because a lot of, black creators and black people in general have had to deal with the environment that, me and, other creators have made. And so, like, I think that entire range of reaction is appropriate.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, for me, it's sort of expected, right? Because I think a lot of the people who say that I shouldn't have apologized or something like that, they are so far from like arriving to where I'm at.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm so much better than all of those people. I have reached the state of awakening and they haven't got there yet. So of course they have these positions.
And I totally get Francesca's feelings of like,
Nicholas,
you can't like undo
Thank you for the
5-10 years of harassment that I've received. Like, so I get it. I wish, I mean, all I can think of, at this point is to communicate my headspace and like where I was at the time and how I came to terms with like understanding like my role and responsibility.
Yeah, as I keep thinking about it, Francesca's story is almost entirely false. There's just no, I don't believe that any version of her story existed. Because she's saying an iDubbbz fan confronted her with the implication that iDubbbz had made a video previously, and she didn't think she would leave with her life at the airport. But iDubbbz didn't make a video on her, and there'd be no reason for an iDubbbz fan to pull her aside and say anything to her, because they wouldn't know who she is based purely off the fact that they're an iDubbbz fan. And would the iDubbbz fan walk up to her and say, aha, I, an iDubbbz fan, will kill you or call you the N-word? Like, what is the... How does she get this knowledge? Is she the one who told them that Creator Clash was pirated by between 1.3 million and 3 million people? Is that like... Is she the statistician that's delivered these interesting numbers? I don't think this happened.
Our community. And
he's still apologizing. He is still saying sorry despite the fact that he claims he never even made a video on her.
Communicate to that to people, because that's as close as I can get to like undoing things or like fixing things.
Yeah. And how did you, like, when you made the final decision that you were going to make the video, like, that this is it, like, what happened there?
I think there's been a lot of things. I think, number one, I think like doing this whole Creator Clash thing has opened my eyes to it in a big way.
Dude, boxing continues to take chunks out of the rest of Ian's life.
I think I've had to interact with, boxing is a very...
I met so many black people at the gym. Oh my god, dude. I realized that I was bad because all the people at the gym kept asking if I was the N-word F-slur guy. All the black people were... I can't believe it, dude.
Is a community that has a lot of marginalized people in it. There are a lot of black people in boxing.
Oh wow, he's really saying it. He's really saying there's too many black people at the gym and I'm getting uncomfortable. Holy fuck, dude.
Mexicans, I mean, it is super popular around the world. And
my dad loves boxing.
Yeah. I mean, I've had to, interact with different people than the usual, like, small bubble of like commentary YouTubers on YouTube. Like,
you just haven't done boxing yet. Dude, this is like when Bo Blacks turn around and goes, I didn't know racism existed until George Floyd was killed. This guy didn't know what racism was until he talked to a black guy while he was punching him in the face during fucking sparring.
It's very small. They're coming from like the same world.
These are your reparations!
World that I come from. And it just makes my confidence in a lot of these like ideas that I've developed over the years be like less and less confident in them, because it's like, oh, holy shit, like these are real people and they're as fucking, compassionate and, I don't know. It's just...
I get it. I mean, I went to boarding school.
Dude, he doesn't have a black friend, so he's like, I have boxing training partners or something. He doesn't have a black friend to like fucking throw at her. So yeah, dude, there's a lot of black people who go to my gym.
Virginia. So, and I was the only black girl in my senior class. So I have been people's first, many a white person's first introduction to a black person.
Dude, you're God's gift to racist white people. Holy shit.
And that in any way departed from a caricature or a stereotype they had in their mind. And I think, listen, I actually think you're in a better position than most if you think about it, because you're not the only white person. There are tons of white people, even the ones I'm sure condemning you, guilty of similar behavior, or at the very least being complicit on a spectrum of racism. So you're not alone. You're in a country.
Dude, there's the autistic spectrum, there's the racial spectrum. Chat, do the real ones here remember the rape spectrum? Ayala on Twitter, the crazy OnlyFans person. I was gonna say freak. Yeah, I'm gonna say freak. She's kind of a freak. Did you ever see Ayala post her rape spectrum? That's something we got to go over one day. It was like she tried to like specifically churn through the idea of sexual assault and grade them all. Yeah, we'll look at that briefly as a palate cleanser.
Full of company, right? So that's...
But she did it entirely unironically. It wasn't meant to be an edgy joke. It wasn't like trying to insult people. She thought it would benefit the world when she posted her rape spectrum on Twitter. She's a complete nutter, yeah.
Yeah.
So in that respect, very often, I think, when we talk about racism, all kind of white people, if they were able to, if there were video logs of their platform or how they've lived their life, I'm sure they have a community of black people who would be upset or who they've wronged or they've fostered attitudes and things too. But they don't have the benefit, I think, in your case, you actually do have the benefit of knowing who and what. Like, you can't contain...
You don't have the benefit of knowing who. Your one example is Jinx. You can't even name a second black person that was directly affected by Ian's actions. Dude, you want to talk about Ethan's actions? Dude, there are these big black dudes who are all strapped and they're all black. And I do think that if there's these black people that might be strapped, it is worth knowing. That is my favorite clip when he was just like, Ethan, please stop talking. He goes, no, dude, there's these big black dudes and they're all strapped.
Once you spread like toxicity, you can't...
They were huge!
Spread what your audience does. You can only try to course correct, and I respect that you're doing that, right? So you can't do anything about whatever black people were on the receiving end.
Play the clip. Let me grab it. The Black Ice clip that I edited.
And of who your audience members or those things. But you do know which individual black people, that you made content cops about or that you singled out.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of black content cop targets, which is actually partially the problem.
Yourself Keffel's tweet.
How come you didn't cover more
Nicholas
black
DeOrio.
creators? Why did so many white people who are the star of the show, Ian? Wait, why didn't you make a video on KSI, Mr. fucking...
And you know what those videos made in revenue. You have the ability to look at these things, and I think you do have a way to definitively, concretely do some things. And
not a lot of black victims, I see. Must be a hate crime.
Especially when we tie it back to
you hate them so much you wouldn't even commit the crime.
You have no black friends. And listen, even if you didn't tell me that, I knew that. I went to create a clash. So I knew. But I think there is a way to change that. You know what I mean? If you're a person, if you have the benefit, whether...
Yeah, I got it.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Every car that went down the street was fucked because they didn't know that it was all black ice. The whole street was black ice. And we sat on the roof, and there was not a goddamn thing we could do.
If there's 8 dudes on security and they're all black, I think that's worth noting.
No, not black guys. Black ice.
Oh. The Joe Rogan Experience.
That was my best edit that I ever made. I made that like peak 2020. Holy shit. All right, back to the video.
We like it or not, I can't crush your platform, nobody else can either. You're gonna have one. You're gonna still have this audience. So if you have the benefit, your white privilege is that you have the ability to maintain your platform and continue to grow. I think a way that you step forward, a way you atone that is to change the lack of the way the black people's platforms that you brought down, bring some black people's platforms up. You know what I mean? Or help. And listen,
really?
in some respect,
did you really just say really monkey noise? That's fucking Joe Rogan's intro. I'm sorry. Not everything is racist.
Your presence here, you taking a step in.
I'm getting one guide so hard because I guarantee the chatter knew that.
To getting on the black side of the internet. But I do think that is a way you can concretely do something. Like take a look at the privated videos or whatever videos it is where you targeted whatever content creators and look and see how much did that make or what was this, and like sit down and try to like.
We got to put the numbers out here. You got to cut Jinx a check.
Piece by
you got to pay Jinx back specifically how much money you made off of him.
Piece. What can we do about this? How can we reach out to these folk? And I think that can.
Who cares that he was stealing content and stole a bunch of other people's money? You've got to pay him because you did the fucking black scent when you covered him and called him the N-word.
That shows some kind of material stuff.
Translation, give me money. Well, no, she doesn't even need money. She's virtuous here. It's the other people who should be paid. The other unnamed people who she can't possibly name.
You know what? I acknowledging that it's not just that you built your platform off of, some bigoted content, because that's not innately the problem. It's that you also destroyed black platforms. And so I think that's where a good...
Jinx deserved to have his fucking platform destroyed. Actually, again, I have to go back on that. In the time frame in which it existed, he absolutely did deserve all of the criticism that he got in that video. Being black does not prevent you from being criticized on YouTube. I think that was a fair thing. Now, in hindsight, XQC arrived and literally just sits here and watches videos staying silent half the time and re-uploads the content to YouTube. So I don't know if he does it as much anymore, but he certainly did it in 2020. Where you just sit there. My favorite XQC example is when the fucking French-Canadian dipshit was sitting there watching... I have to specify that because I was going to say Swedish. Have you ever watched XQC react to Lemmy No's video on the JFK assassination? Like, why in God's name did you feel interested? Or what does XQC have to contribute to the JFK assassination? You just know that it was the first time that he thought about it ever. Look at this. Look at this fucking video. Look at this soy face pogging at the JFK assassination. This is like the peak internet bullshit. Okay? And it's, by the way, most of the runtime of the video. I don't know if he ends up... I don't know how much he cut out. It's been a long time.
Him was a glimpse of him go away from me.
What did you do?
I hollered at him at that time and said, "Come here." He turned and walked right straight back to me.
What did you say to him?
I didn't get anything out of him. Mr. Truly had come up to my side here, and I turned to Mr. Truly and I says, "Do you know this man? Does he work
Anything?"
here?" And he said, "Yes." And I turned immediately and went on out up the stairs.
The man whom Baker and Truly encountered in the second floor lunchroom was none other than Lee Harvey Oswald.
This is like...
The encounter was brief, lasting no more than
What?
30 seconds. Oswald appeared calm and failed to evoke suspicion, so Truly and Baker left in the lunchroom and proceeded up the stairs. They spent some time searching the roof, but there was no assassin to be found. Down by the main entrance, Geraldine Reed was still trying to process what had just occurred. She decided to return to her office on the second floor of the building. Here, about 2 minutes after the shooting...
So why does Jinx need to be cancelled again? I don't know. I feel like in current day, Jinx can exist except for the stealing content part.
Became the last known person to have seen Oswald...
Like, did he copyright strike somebody? I forgot.
I kept walking and I looked up and Oswald was coming in the back door of the office. I met him by the time I passed my desk by several feet. And I told him, I said, "Oh, the president has been shot, but maybe they didn't hit him." He mumbled something to me. I kept walking.
But the thing is, even if he was talking, what could he possibly contribute to this discourse? Am I supposed to think that XQC is knowledgeable on the intricate history of the fucking JFK conspiracy theories?
He did too. I didn't pay any attention to what he said because I had no thoughts of him having any connection with the shooting at all because he was very calm.
Oswald is then presumed to have taken the front stairs, and on his way out the main entrance, encountered someone looking for a phone. There are at least 2 candidates for who this person might have been, but Oswald seems to have pointed out the phone
What about the rape intro? It's awesome. What's the issue with the rape intro?
inside the building before blending into the chaos outside. He was next observed...
Oh, the Deji rape intro. I thought you meant My Ultimate Raper intro.
Did the police not have radios at the time? You couldn't radio in or ask for help or backup, whatever? They went in alone and didn't detain anybody or send anybody to cover the doors or the exits, whatever? I don't get it.
A few blocks east.
Do they not have radio? He did contribute, I will say. After we watched about, that probably translates to roughly like 3 or 4 minutes because we 2x'd it. He did contribute.
They did have radio, so I don't know. What the fuck is he doing? He's manipulating the building?
Maybe 4 months after the assassination, Truly and Baker participated in a crew...
Like, I do think that if you're going to react to stuff, you kind of have to have a reason why you're doing it. I think that the issue with reaction streamers comes in when they're like, I've got no content today, I'm not interested in anything, but this video is viral on YouTube's trending tab, so I'm going to just sit and watch it. This is a very Twitch-intensive thing as well, because the culture around Twitch was just stealing YouTube content for years, which led to people saying stuff like, stop pausing the video, like the pause Andy thing. Pause Andy was like a fucking slur for content creators who actually engage with what they were watching, because YouTubers wanted Twitch viewers wanted watch parties. They didn't actually want XQC to contribute to the video.
Instruction of the shooting to time their movements. The experiment was repeated twice. On the first attempt, it took them 1 minute and 30 seconds to reach the second.
But like on YouTube, the default was being a pause
Nicholas
Andy.
DeOrio's latest video.
Because people like this was not the culture here. The culture here was, if you're going to do reaction streams, it better be something that you have something to say about.
For lunchroom, then 1 minute and 15 seconds. These time trials were primarily conducted...
Why the hate for Dark Viper AU? This is his manifesto. Because Dark Viper is a rage sped. All of his arguments are absolutely poorly worded to the point where, like, it makes him a genuinely difficult person to be around, because he's got like radical positions on fair use that are outside of the bounds of what normal people would accept. Your argument right there saying that this is his argument 1-to-1 is actually not accurate. Dark Viper AU would love nothing more than to have a court ruling fuck over every type of reaction streamer on the planet, and he wants to be the guy who does it. So, Dark Viper AU is so obnoxious and aggressive that he'll make videos on other people who also hate reaction content, targeting them, saying that they're not going hard enough, and then crying...
The GOAT. I appreciate that.
And then crying that Jack's Films was able to go after Sniper Wolf, and then people suddenly cared about that when he was, I guess, just retreading all of Dark Viper's talking points. So he felt jolted by that. And made a video whining and bitching about it because he wasn't given the credit he deserves. Honestly, you can't have a genuine discourse about copyright with Hassan's audience or XQC's audience, because Dark Viper is like the greatest ammunition they've got. He has made it so impossible to engage in any React discourse at all whatsoever by just being a genuinely obnoxious idiot. To the point where it like invalidates other people's arguments. He's become a meme, so we can't even talk about it anymore because they don't take us seriously. He's targeted, what is it called? He's targeted opposition. Is that what it is? He's targeted opposition.
Determine whether Oswald could have fired the shots from the 6th floor and still made it down to the 2nd in time for his encounter with Truly and Baker.
I'm going to be honest with you, and I probably shouldn't leak this. I probably won't leak this. I'm actually I'm gonna pull back on that. Eventually, maybe I will if it deems to be acceptable, but I need to think about this for a second. No, not today. Note this down though. I might have something to say in the future, depending on how this next thing goes.
After all, if there wasn't enough time, Oswald could not have been the assassin. A bunch of different routes were tested, and while Oswald could theoretically have taken one of the elevators or even the fire escape, in practice, there wasn't enough time.
You do not think the assassin used any of the elevators at any time to get from the 6th to the 2nd floor?
You mean after the shooting? No, sir. He just could not, because those elevators, I saw myself, were both on the 5th floor. They were both even.
The only other means of descent was the stairway. A stand-in for the gunman trotted down from the 6th floor to the 2nd.
No, I gotta go make sure I have the screenshots before I say it out loud, because the second I say it out loud, they'll be gone. I can't say it right now.
In 1 minute and 18 seconds. Then, at a slightly faster pace, in 1 minute and 14 seconds. There was just enough time. It's therefore possible that Oswald stopped on the 2nd floor, perhaps upon hearing Truly shouting at the elevator shaft, and attempted to hide in the lunchroom mere seconds ahead of Truly and Baker's arrival. But it's not quite that simple, because Oswald was not the only person using the stairway to escape the building.
Okay, so yeah, you can see he's not reacting to the video at all. Let Me Know's video, by the way, is fantastic. His JFK video is awesome. Eventually, obviously, this does have the link in here. You can go watch it yourself. It's an hour and 38 minutes. And it is a very, very good video. His whole channel, by the way, is extremely fucking interesting. He had some commentary about Hassan, how it kind of sucked when he posted either that video or the one after it. I think it was the JFK video. It was just getting reposted, and the views were like going higher than the actual original thing, because all the Twitch streamers were just like fucking mauling it for views. Actually, I recommend right now Jack the Ripper. Not gay Jack the Ripper, regular Jack the Ripper. Great video. This guy posts like once per year, and it's always the most highly edited documentary you've ever seen in your life. He's got a great voice for it. One of the coolest things that Let Me Know does, by the way, since I just kind of like watched his content through XQC, and I want to credit him in some capacity for that, is he actually makes his own music. So when you hear this cool shit in these videos, like the search for DB Cooper,
just let me know.
The man identified himself as Dan Cooper, and along with 36 other passengers...
Not only is he doing this editing, I don't know if he himself does the editing or a team of people do the editing, but some of this stuff is extremely fucking intricate to the point where like these videos...
Assessment. For instance, if the drop zone was much further...
The videos look like you could find these things on like a Netflix documentary. Some cases a little bit better. You can go to his other channel. I believe it's still up, where you can go download Let Me Know music. He will let creators use his songs. If you've ever heard Let Me Know, maybe you've heard some of these. It was actually the song that I used, and I credit him for it in my recent video on Mama Max. But all of these songs have their own individual themes that he creates himself, and then lets YouTubers just use for their videos. All right, back to what we're doing.
Place for you to kind of move forward, and that was an idea I wanted to bring to you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think
we're almost done here. We're gonna move on to we're gonna move on to Jake Weddle 2 in a second.
That's a good idea, and I'm going to take your advice on that. I think I was going to go on Tana's podcast.
Yeah.
What is your? I guess I'm curious what your thoughts on doing.
You can only go on Tana's podcast if you bring a black person. If you bring Sean, oh my god, is that why Sean was included? Oh no, dude. Maybe is that why they brought Sean into the content cop? Because he didn't want to just be on screen with like fucking...
That would be.
I think you can do that. I don't think that there is a problem with you doing that, especially if that's somebody you singled out and you did do something there. And like I said, I don't think you're wrong to apologize to or acknowledge a dangerous element or that. I don't think that will warm the hearts of the communities, the particular marginalized communities they feel impacted by, because I think they're still going to feel like the narrative will still be that a white woman was centered in all of this, and that ultimately you're apologizing for saying a racial slur, black racial slur to a white lady. So I don't think you're wrong to do it. I think you can do multiple things. In the same way that you could sit down and talk to me, I think you can sit down and talk to Tana. So
Dude, they're acting like fucking iDubbbz slaughtered black people in the streets. I gotta be honest with you, I'm not buying this shit. I think that his impact on the black community was probably fairly small. And I say that as an Italian dude who's half Sicilian, who could do an ancestry report and still not be able to say the word. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't care about it. I'm not gonna pretend I give a fuck about this, I guess. I don't think any of you expect me to.
I think that's fine. I don't think you have to take that out of your lexicon, but I think the same way you've made these are bold steps. Like I said, I want to give credit to that. Most people are not sitting down with me, okay? People are scared of me on a regular, even in court, okay? So
Nicholas,
I think it's just about you saying
half Sicilian, you mean
$5,
Italian?
my
Apparently that's a slur. If you say that you're 100% Italian when I'm half Italian and half Sicilian, they get really mad at you about that.
And now, hey, maybe let me see how I reach out to a Jinx, or at the very least, even
but that's why Keemstar has like Keemstar has a percentage black because of his Sicilian ancestry. I'm almost positive that's the reason that's where it came from.
Because a lot of these people may not be receptive to talking to you. I know Francesca don't care to speak to you or anything like that, but I think there's a way that you can change a narrative. Like what I saw a lot when I was watching, there was a video, that's why I figured I watched a whole video on the end of Jinx's career, right? And that begins.
Don't you think he made thousands off young dudes who think the N-word is funny? Betty, you know what the best part of this? There's no clip online that you'll ever hear of me saying the N-word, and I think I make thousands every month off of young kids who think that saying the N-word is funny. That's probably the reality of the situation.
With Content Cap Cop is the beginning of the end for Jinx. And even because of an audience, we know this, being on Twitter, the popular opinion is who's got the biggest audience, right? Or who's the winner, or who's still standing. And so because you're the one that's still standing and Jinx has been run off the platform, the audience's perspective is like, he was stupid, he was prideful, he should have. I'm like, yeah. He's calling him every kind of N-word and you mad at the man because he's upset. I think there's a way that we can speak up for people, that you could say, hey, you know what? I actually was wrong, you know what I mean? Or that wasn't, that's not the right perspective to have in that, because so much public perception change.
Why do you think there are so many clips where all these people are 17 years old and saying it? Like, I don't know, dude. I don't think that there's, I think that it's probably very rare that there's any person who is directly impacted, gay, black, whatever, any specifically by the words of iDubbbz in particular. I think that he is over-exaggerating his negative impact on the internet, because that's his easiest path to redemption.
Is whether or not we're able to.
And if you start typing in letters in my chat, you are not getting timed out. You are getting banned. Bye-bye.
And changing the public perception on Jinx is what killed him. So I think there's also a way that you can just kind of walk back some of these things, and maybe recognize the humanity that you didn't recognize in them then, recognize it now. Because think about—
Thank you!
Nick, can I get a salute? Just booted up BF4 on my PS5, and cause I'm on a different account, I lost my veteran status from BF3, and all my progress, can I get
dude.
5 big booms?
Boom, 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 boom!
Think about if you felt the way you felt, and all the things that you're going through, but your platform was gone.
Dude, you just type Yemen in chat. Good one.
Yeah.
So,
thank you, Rob.
I think that's a way. I think.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, I don't know to the extent, like how much of this footage you plan on using for your video, but
yeah,
I don't know. I think that this is part of the whole YouTubers seem to give themselves way more in real life hype than is actually deserved. Only in this case, it's working against iDubbbz. I don't think Hassan's saving the world. I don't think that iDubbbz invented racism. I don't think their contributions are nearly as big as everybody seems to think that they are. I don't think that Destiny saved the liberals. I think that everybody is assuming these YouTubers are more important than they actually are, and it's gone to everybody's head, to the point where iDubbbz is walking around doing his reparation tour still, fucking years later.
I did find out a couple months ago that Jinx has me blocked on Twitter, so if Jinx does come across this video, I'll see if there's an email or something, but let it be known I'm down to speak with you and even do it all publicly, or whatever he'd like.
And I love that. Listen, I love that. The defense attorney in my heart. When I stumbled on the Jinx thing, I was like, listen, I'm years behind. I didn't know nothing about Jinx in 2015 of all of this, but I was like, he does not know it wherever he is in the world, but justice for Jinx. I was like,
oh, so she wasn't even watching. She's just like a new person who's like, let me Google a black person that iDubbbz has made a video on, and that'll be useful for my argument later.
So I'm glad, and I'm really glad that you sat down with me. Is there anything in particular? I want to make sure that you're able to say whatever you say, because I think this is the closest you're gonna get to talking directly to Cornbread Tube. So, you don't know Cornbread Tube? Have you never heard that?
No, I haven't.
Bread Tube, holy shit. Wow. How is this? I didn't know she was a bread tuber. How's her channel doing now? She might end up in our series.
I was like, what is that?
Oh, so BradTube is the video essayist space, right? The general video essays, and Cornbread Tube is the black video essayist space.
Okay. Yeah. I've heard.
Wait. They call the black bread tube space Cornbread Tube? I'm not even kidding. I've never heard of that. And I talk about bread tube constantly. I've never heard that.
Heard of bread tube, cornbread tube. That's funny. I like that.
You get it.
Wait, we're watching iDubbbz find out what he wants to be in real time.
So if there's anything you wanted to say to them directly, please, this is your moment.
Oh, I mean, maybe I'd have more
Ain't that racist? Well, you don't understand. It's a black person saying it. So yeah, it is a little different than a white guy. Like calling them that. But it's still kind of weird.
Say if I was like familiar, but is there like more? Is there any like?
That's where everybody is. All of the cat blacks, or that's where.
Okay.
Cat Black is a crazy person, dude. If you listen, I don't like Vosh either. Go watch Cat Black talk about Vosh. She's a crazy person. Holy fuck. That's the only other person in this space I've probably heard of. But I've never called here's the thing. I don't do segregation. Whenever I talk about FD Signifier, I don't say he's from Cornbread Tube. He's from fucking Bread Tube, you know? Maybe that's like a self-declared title, but I've never thought FD Signifier was in a separate class of person than all the other Bread
Nicholas!
Yeah,
oh yeah,
that's our side.
I guess I'll just say like out of the, the I've watched. I mean, I tend to want to stay away from a lot of the reaction videos to like my apology and stuff because mentally it's just tough to deal with.
Yeah.
But
who is FD Signifier? A moron, but probably one of the only like. I don't know. One of the only remaining successful YouTubers in that space.
There have been a few that I've watched fully, and Cat Black is one of the videos that I watched. And
I just saw Keffels
I mean,
tweet
I would say out of
Nicholas
any of the
Keffels appreciated the shout out.
reactions to watch, in my opinion, it would be Cat Black's response.
Oh my god. I can't imagine how bad that must be. I can't stress enough. The Cat Black Vosh video is so The essay she wrote about Vosh was insane.
Because she definitely comes from obviously perspective of
why
being someone this apology might be appropriate for, and she essentially says like, hey, I'm probably not gonna watch. I'm not like an iDubbbz fan or anything.
We don't
I'm
have to imagine.
These videos going forward.
I'm not covering that.
I really like you.
But I at least feel a little bit more safe if he's like at a convention or we pass by each other or whatever. Like I'm not going to immediately dismiss him as like the racist guy or whatever.
I always do the possible.
That's, to be honest, like all I'm, all I could ask for in that case.
All right, I'm probably done with this. Let's do a palate cleanser quickly.